Chapter 1300. Lin Xian and the others entered an incomparably huge rift valley. They were stepping on snow and ice. The depth of the rift valley should be more than 100 meters, and the width on both sides was more than 100 meters. Why did they have to pass through here? Because this was a place they had to pass through. There were mountains all around them, and there might even be icebergs thousands of meters tall. This was the only flat ground. Who would be so bored that they would rather not walk on the flat ground below to climb a mountain? Although they had the space attribute, who knew how many mountains were behind one mountain? Lin Xian originally wanted to use the space attribute to directly pass through here, but Morongyu told Lin Xian a cruel truth. She said that the mountains here stretched for more than 100 kilometers, and this rift valley was also more than 100 kilometers long. Lin Xian was helpless. With their strength, they could probably do a space jump of tens of kilometers, but the cruel truth was, this was a very dangerous place. It was an area where powerful demonic beasts roamed. If Lin Xian and Morongyu consumed a lot of spirit power to travel, the consequences would be unimaginable if they encountered a powerful demonic beast. Only the two of them had the space attribute. If they ran out of spirit power, it would be difficult for them to run even if they wanted to. And if a cultivator ran out of spirit power, their combat power would be reduced by 80%. Moreover, there might even be sage-level demonic beasts roaming around here. The reason was very simple. This kind of place was deserted, and no one might come here for many years. That would cause the demonic beasts here to grow unbridled. There might not be many demonic beasts, but those that could survive here were mostly powerful. Anyway, they still had a lot of time. They just had to use the space attribute to travel. It seems to be quite convenient to drive here. As they walked, Lin Xian suddenly realized something. Didn't we lose the car? Wang Xintong asked. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. I realized that the 80,000 yuan from before seemed to have been wasted. With that said, Lin Xian released the law of creation, and a car appeared in front of them. The girls. Lin Xian also felt helpless. As a person who had lived in the city for a long time, he had a subconscious desire to buy some things in the city. If he lacked something, he would subconsciously buy it with money. He could only buy it with money. But Lin Xian had the law of creation. He always forgot about the law of creation. Most of the time, he had to wait until he had no other choice before he suddenly thought of something. Damn. I have the law of creation. And now that Lin Xian was already a 6-star Empyrean, it was definitely not difficult for him to create a car with the creation laws. You're crazy. Ling Ying looked at the car, then looked at Lin Xian, and said quietly. Then the girls got into the car. Lin Xian shrugged helplessly. Damn it, if I had known that there was such an iceberg valley in addition to the countless mountain peaks, I wouldn't have lost that car. However, even if it was an iceberg valley, it wasn't so flat that you could drive without any obstacles. Maybe after driving for a few kilometers, there would be a cliff in front of you. That wasn't something that a car could go up. Whoosh, then, they drove the car and continued on their way. Another day passed just like that. Along the way, Lin Xian and Morongyu released the space attribute no less than 200 times just to move the car because it wasn't as easy to drive as they thought. They're here. A few figures stood on both sides of the valley in the distance. Are you sure it's Lin Xian and the others? There were other people who passed by earlier and almost made a mistake. A man asked. There's no mistake this time. Then, a man waved his hand, and a mirror image appeared in front of him. In the mirror was Lin Xian, who was driving, and Morongyu, who was in the front passenger seat. That's Morongyu? A man glanced at it and frowned. There were a total of 8 of them. There were 4 on this side and 4 on the other side of the valley. As for their realms, it was unknown for the time being. However, it was obvious that they had come for Lin Xian, and it was obvious that they were Evil God Fire Palace, which was also the Xiao family's people. Why would the Evil God Fire Palace send people to kill Lin Xian? The reason was very simple. With Xiao Yun and Xiao Yun's father thinking of all sorts of ways to instigate them, all sorts of groundless accusations were placed on Lin Xian's head. Do you think the Evil God Fire Hall wouldn't make a move against Lin Xian? In their eyes, Lin Xian was a genius, but he was only a genius. Killing a genius. What was so difficult about that? Furthermore, The most important thing was that Lin Xian had led the destruction of the evil god palace in Lin City. Just this alone was enough for the evil god fire palace to kill Lin Xian. Of course, Lin Xian had a lot of value. If they could not kill him, and let him be used by the evil god palace, that would be the greatest value. They're here. Let's do it. Lin Xian's attribute, at least the space attribute, was not a secret. If one wanted to kill a space attribute warrior whose realm was not weak, then one must have an even stronger space attribute to suppress him. Therefore, knowing that Lin Xian was a space attribute warrior, the evil god palace must have sent a powerful space attribute warrior. Lin Xian's car suddenly stopped moving. Get out! Lin Xian furrowed his brows. Boom! In the next moment, his car exploded. The figures of 7 people flashed to the side, and then they all took out their spirit artifacts in an instant. F***CK. It's another ambush. Lin Xian's gaze landed on a total of 8 people in front and behind them. 6 men and 2 women, but all of them were wearing masks. When Lin Xian saw that they were wearing masks, he roughly knew. They were from the evil god Fire Palace. His eye of cave spirit swept a glance. Of the 8 people, 3 were 10-star heavenly venerables, 2 were 1-star Great Void Realm, and the remaining 3 were definitely higher than 1-star Great Void Realm. Moreover, 2 of the Great Void Realm were of the space attribute. They were determined to kill him. Everyone from the evil god palace is really interesting. You're guarding me in this kind of place? Lin Xian's gaze swept across the front. The lowest of the 8 of them was an 8-star heavenly venerables, and there were even 5 Great Void Realm warriors. Lin Xian could indeed kill a Great Void Realm warrior, but there were 2 Great Void Realm space warriors. This battle could not be fought. This was even more dangerous than when the 3 Great Void Realm warriors surrounded Lin Xian and the others. This is the only way. Normal people would not choose to cross the mountains and ignore this rift valley. A man looked at Lin Xian and sneered. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and kill him, lest something unexpected happens. An old man hurriedly urged. He was Xiao Yun's great-grandfather, and he came with the determination to kill Lin Xian. No matter what, he had to kill this Lin Xian. Okay. Then, the power of the few people began to surge. Lin Xian frowned suddenly. Let's fight. Murong Yu said indifferently. Don't be anxious. The voice of a woman in a black dress came from the evil god palace, and then she slowly walked forward from behind. Chapter 1301. The woman in black looked at Lin Xian and said indifferently, Hall Master means that if we can spare Lin Xian's life, then we should. Who gave you the guts to kill him before he even finished speaking? Xiao Yun's great-grandfather frowned when he heard the woman in black. 7th Elder, based on Lin Xian's past deeds, he's extremely cunning and will never submit to our evil fiend Hall. There shouldn't be anything wrong with killing him, right? Hey, what the F***CK are you talking about? Have you asked for my opinion? How do you know I won't submit? I'll chop your mother up. Fuck you. Lin Xian hurled a torrent of abuse at that person. Everyone. You're courting death. Xiao Yun's great-grandfather's terrifying lightning struck Lin Xian. Bang. In the next instant, the woman in black gave the other woman a look. The woman in blue waved her hand and blocked his power. At the same time, she kicked Xiao Yun's great-grandfather away. The most important thing in the evil fiend hall is the rules. If you don't even obey the rules, then I'm afraid you're not qualified to be an elder. The woman in the black dress said coldly. Although she and Xiao Yun's great-grandfather were both elders, elders were divided into different ranks. I'm just too worried about this kid's treachery. Xiao Yun's great-grandfather clenched his teeth and cupped his fist unwillingly. There's no need for you to worry. Then she looked at Lin Xian and asked, The evil fiend hall wants to recruit you. So what do you think? I agree. Lin Xian shrugged and said. Lin Xian. The women behind him frowned and looked at Lin Xian. Oh. You're agreeing so decisively. You're making me very suspicious. The woman in black looked at Lin Xian and said indifferently. Lin Xian shrugged and said. I didn't agree before because I could defeat the members of the evil fiend hall. But now, I can't defeat them. Rather than dying, wouldn't it be better to seek a way out? Actually, Lin Xian was right. If they were to fight, they would all be in danger. In that case, he might as well take advantage of this opportunity to join the evil Divine Hall and overthrow the evil Divine Fire Hall. You're a smart person, but if you're too smart, I won't be at ease. The woman in black said faintly. Lin Xian smiled and said, if I'm not wrong, according to your evil god Fire Hall's Hall Master's intentions, recruiting me is more than killing me, right? Yes. Lin Xian shrugged. Let them go, and I'll join the evil fiend temple. The woman in the black dress smiled and said, that won't do. Release them? They all know that you will be a member of the evil god Fire Hall in the future. Tell me, how can I let them go? They can only die. If they can only die, then let's fight to the death. I don't believe that you don't know that we've even killed a great void stage expert. If you force us into a corner, among the 8 of you, even a heavenly venerable will die. We can at least take away a great void stage expert. Do you believe me? Lin Xian glanced at them and said, I don't believe it. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. Xintong. Roger. Then, Wang Xintong activated her domain. Lin Xian activated his domain. Then, the 2 8-stars heavenly venerables fell to the ground, no longer breathing. Everyone's pupils suddenly shrank. Do you believe it now? The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. However, although Lin Xian did it so easily, more than half of his spiritual power was gone. This was because he had used the law of destruction to instantly kill an 8 stars heavenly venerable. That was really not that easy. However, he only wanted to intimidate these people because Lin Xian knew that if he did not intimidate them, they would all die. If he fought them head-on, they would really die. Indeed, he could take away a large number of these people, but they would really die. Seeing this shocking scene, they looked at each other. He had silently killed 2 8 stars heavenly venerables. It seemed that what he said was true. If they really wanted to fight, although they could kill all these people, there was a possibility that some of them would be taken away, including a great void stage expert. As for who or which great void stage experts would be killed, no one knew. It could be them, or it could be someone else. Then the woman looked at them and said, however, the solution is very simple. Everyone join the evil fiend hall. Even if I die in battle, I won't join the evil fiend hall. Ling Ying said coldly. Lin Xian, if you join the evil fiend hall, I will look down on you. Then Ling Ying said to Lin Xian. She was very smart, but she was actually acting. She did not know what Lin Xian wanted to do, but she knew that Lin Xian's choice must have some meaning. As Lin Xian's woman, she had to choose to believe and support him. Woman, shut up, Lin Xian said, then looked at the woman and said, it's impossible for them to join the evil fiend hall. Then the woman in the black dress stretched out her hand. Then it's easy to solve. There were a few pills in her palm. Everyone, take this. I believe you all should know what this is. If you don't agree, then we can only kill you. Lin Xian, you are a smart person. I don't need to say the rest, right? They never would have thought that this poison pill that the entire continent was helpless against would actually be refined by Lin Xian. This was what Lin Xian had expected. All right. Lin Xian took the poison pill. Don't try to play any tricks. I'll keep an eye on you. Lin Xian nodded, then distributed the poison pill to them. When he turned his head to look at them, he gave them a reassuring look. Eat it. It's better than dying. Scram. Ling Ying cooperated and cursed again. Hurry up and eat. Otherwise, Laozi will be angry. Lin Xian glared at them. I'm not eating. Everyone, Lin Xian is a smart person. You guys are really not as smart as him. The woman in the black dress said with a smile. As long as they took this poison pill, even if they said that they would not join the evil fiend hall, they would still be members of the evil fiend hall. You could not tell the outside world any news about the evil fiend hall. You still had to listen to the evil fiend hall. Eat it. Lin Xian said. Then Morong Yu and the others took the poison pill. They chose to believe in Lin Xian unconditionally. Right, I have another request. After I become a member of the evil fiend hall, I want to continue participating in the Sky Martial Conference. I might even go to the God's Awakening door. Is that a problem? Of course not. When you come out, we can discuss some things properly. It's naturally best if you can become stronger. Also, joining the Evil Fiend Hall is just joining a faction. If you don't want to kill, then don't kill. No one is asking you to join the Evil Fiend Hall to kill innocent people. Isn't that right? Lin Xian nodded and swallowed the poison pill. Let's go. Chapter 1302. The woman in the black dress and the others watched as Lin Xian and the others swallowed the poison pills. Then Lin Xian and the others walked past them. Wait! The woman in the black dress said. Lin Xian and the others stopped. Then Lin Xian looked at her and asked, "Is there anything else?" The woman in the black dress snorted and said, "I don't want you to play any tricks. Stretch your hands over." Lin Xian stretched out his hand. Then she checked Lin Xian's pulse and frowned. He really swallowed the poison pill? She had always thought that Lin Xian was full of tricks. Under normal circumstances, it would seem that he had swallowed the poison pill, but in reality, he might have used some other method to confuse her. But now, she sensed that the poison had already permeated every part of his body. It was said that this poison wouldn't affect your daily life, but when you betrayed the Evil Fiend Temple, the poison would explode and kill you instantly. This Lin Xian didn't play any tricks? He was a smart person. But it seemed that he was only SOSO. He wasn't as godly as the rumors said. Go over. Lin Xian shrugged and walked over. Your hand. The woman in the black dress looked at Ling Ying. Humph. Ling Ying snorted and stretched out his hand. Go over. Then one by one, the girls passed through her inspection. Remember my words. Even if you join the Evil Fiend Temple, as long as you don't want to kill people, no one will force you to kill innocent people. So I hope that in the future, you will feel honored to join the Evil Fiend Temple. I also hope that you will achieve good results in the Sky Martial Conference and enter the God's Awakening door. When you come out, you will make even greater contributions to the Evil Fiend Temple. Let's go. On the other side, those people gathered together. Seventh Elder, isn't it a little too easy? A person frowned and said, I feel that it's a little too easy. That's right. That Lin Xian killed a few of our heavenly venerables in an instant. If they really fought, they might not necessarily die. The woman in the black dress said, It seems easy, but it's mainly because that Lin Xian is a smart person. Yes, each of them is very powerful and can fight across realms. However, we have 5 absolute void realm martial artists. This is not important. What's important is that we have 2 absolute void realm martial artists with the spatial attribute. If there is only one of them, they might make a move. However, they didn't dare to do it for 2 people. With absolute power, the spatial shackles combined with the spatial explosion, they died instantly. That's true. Since they've already taken the poison pill, they won't be able to cause any trouble. The harvest this time is not bad. Lin Xian, even the daughter of the temple master, Murongyu, Ling Ying and Han Chuxue from the 8 great families of Tiandu, and Xiao Xinyue from the Xiao family of the Ice Nation. Not bad. But, Murongyu, she actually took the poison pill. Isn't something wrong? Humph. In this world, no one will go against their own life. The key is that Lin Xian. I have to say, that Lin Xian is very powerful. Those beautiful women, including Murongyu, are probably his women. Isn't it normal for women to listen to men? The more arrogant and noble a woman was, the more obedient she would be. Furthermore, I didn't say that she would become a member of the Evil God Temple if she ate this poison pill. It wouldn't be a problem to compromise for a short period of time. Let's go back. On the other side. Hey, we've all taken the poison pill of the Evil Fiend Temple. What should we do now? Ling Ying asked as he moved closer to Lin Xian. They all believed in Lin Xian's choice and judgment, but they were curious and at a loss. What should they do now? Here. Lin Xian took out a few pills and handed them to them. This is the antidote for the Evil Fiend Temple's poison pill. The women. Antidote. The 3 great forces and the entire continent have been researching this poison pill for so many years, but they still haven't been able to crack it. You. Murongyu looked at Lin Xian in shock. Lin Xian grinned. Otherwise, how can I become the most outstanding man in the world? Then, the women ate the pills without hesitation. Done. Lin Xian nodded. Of course. I've tried. Then can you give the antidote formula to the holy temple? Morongyu asked. Lin Xian's lips curled. Sure, give me a price. Morongyu rolled her eyes. This was something that would benefit the continent. However, Lin Xian was right. The three great forces had always been the enemy of the evil fiend temple. Obtaining this formula would be very useful to the three great forces. Actually, Lin Xian could make it himself. But after thinking about it, once the Yixian group was exposed to be able to make the antidote, the Yixian group would be finished. Let's go. I hope there won't be any more accidents. A day later, an incomparably huge snowy peak appeared in front of them. It was so huge that it seemed to reach the sky. Is this the peak of the North Pole? Lin Xian raised his head to take a look. Morongyu nodded. Yes, it's 11,000 meters high and the temperature is below -60 degrees Celsius. It might even reach -80 degrees Celsius or even lower. The air is thin and normal people would die if they went up, but for us it's fine. However, if we want to go up there, the Sky Martial Assembly will have a competition at the top. For cultivators, there will be natural disturbances. Lin Xian said, but this is definitely not the reason why they want us to participate in the Sky Martial Arts Conference. There must be a special reason why they want us to participate in the Sky Martial Arts Conference at the summit of the North Pole. There must be a certain segment of the Sky Martial Arts Conference that can only be completed at the summit of the North Pole. Morongyu. Let's go up. Since they knew that it was the peak of the North Pole, there was no need for them to waste any time. They directly released a spatial energy and disappeared from where they were, appearing at the top of the North Pole. Shwa. 7 figures appeared there. After landing, they scanned their surroundings. There were people everywhere. They seemed to be a bit late. There were already many people here. The temperature was indeed very low, but as long as they were in the mysterious heaven realm, it shouldn't be a problem in this kind of situation. Aside from a few young people who were participating in the Sky Martial Assembly, there were a few hundred core members of the three major powers. They were the judges and other experts who were standing in a corner. The rest of the crowd numbered over 1,000. They were the experts of the various large families and powers. Simply put, they were here to watch the Sky Martial Assembly. Little Ling. A voice sounded. Ling Ying's father, Ling Hai, walked over with a smile. Chuxue. Another voice sounded. Beside Ling Hai, Han Guang also walked over with a smile. Ling Ying and Han Chushue's father had also come. Chapter 1303. The two girls froze for a moment. Dad, why are you here too? Ling Ying looked at Ling Hai in front of him. My precious daughter is participating in the final Heaven Martial Assembly. As your father, why do you think I should come? If it wasn't for your mother's low realm, and being unable to withstand the cold here, she would have come as well. But it's fine. Anyway, this competition will be broadcasted live. Many people will be able to see your glory. There's still a live broadcast? Ling Ying scratched his head. Sigh, it's all because those people from the three major forces want all the children of the continent to see your glory, so that they will want to work hard to improve their cultivation. It's reasonable for them to want to strengthen the human race. It's not easy for the three major forces. Then they looked at Lin Xian. Uncle Ling, Uncle Han, hello. Lin Xian quickly coughed and greeted them. Please, 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 please don't expose yourself. That's right. Lin Xian thought that in their eyes, he was their daughter's boyfriend. Actually, they already knew that the man their two daughters liked was him. Sigh. There was nothing they could do. They were all from large families. Their daughters were so beautiful and outstanding. How could they be willing to see their daughters serving the same man? But the two families had discussed this matter in detail. This Lin Xian was indeed outstanding. In the future, he should be able to reach a higher level. Furthermore, the news of Lin Xian obtaining the divine body was from Morong Feng of the sanctuary. How should they put it? They didn't think for themselves. If they thought for their daughters, as long as their daughters didn't have any connections, they would be able to obtain more by following someone who could become a god. Furthermore, in this world, It was normal for capable people to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. So Sai, just bear with it. You brat. Ling Hai raised his leg and kicked Lin Xian. Hey, Uncle Ling. Lin Xian quickly dodged. Work hard. Strive to enter the God's awakening door, and improve yourself. Ling Ying glared at Lin Xian. Then he hugged his daughter Ling Ying and walked to the side. They hadn't seen each other for a long time, so of course, they had a lot to talk about. Chuxue, your grandfather is here too. Let's go meet him. Han Guang looked at Han Chuxue and said. Yes. Han Guang then turned to Lin Xian and said, Good luck all of you. The future is in the hands of you kids. Murong Yu looked at Lin Xian and said, I'll go look for father first. Yes. At this time, Xiao Zun walked over with Xiao Runing. Sister, father. Xiao Xingyue shouted. Uncle Xiao. Lin Xian shouted helplessly. Ah, it's over. Honored Master Xiao had also come. Amen. It's only been a short time since we last met. You've already reached the heavenly venerable realm. Very good. As expected of my Xiao clan's son-in-law. Revered Xiao didn't know about the Han and Ling families, but he knew that he was the Xiao family's son-in-law. Xiao Runing also coughed awkwardly. Cough, cough. It's okay. Lin Xian scratched his head awkwardly. Let's go and have a seat. The Tianwu conference will start tomorrow. Okay. Lin Xian nodded and looked at Wu Yuhan and Wang Xintong. I'll go and see if there are any friends here. Wang Xintong said and walked away. Wu Yuhan also walked away. Lin Xian followed them. Hey, why are you here? Lin Xian asked Xiao Runing quietly. I didn't want to come. It's so comfortable to lie on the sofa and watch the live broadcast at home. But since my father is here, I followed along, Xiao Runing said helplessly. Lin Xian's appearance attracted the attention of many people. Of course, it wasn't because of Lin Xian, but because of the group of girls beside Lin Xian. However, what shocked Lin Xian was that the top of the North Pole was too big. It was so big that he couldn't see the end. If this was their competition area, it would be really cool. Therefore, not many people saw Lin Xian, but there were a few familiar faces. Murong Yu is now following Lin Xian around? Duan Lingxiao frowned. He had invited Murong Yu to come to the North Pole with him, but she rejected him. So she came with Lin Xian? She and Lin Xian. Could there be some kind of relationship? After all, they had been alone for half a year, and no one had the chance to do so. No. Impossible. Murong Yu wouldn't fall in love with a man like that. He had known Murong Yu for so long, and he understood Murong Yu. Absolutely not. But he was very displeased. There were naturally people who were displeased like him. Qin Ming, Su Jiming, and the others were also here. Lin Xian also had girls they liked beside him. Zhuge Feng looked at Lin Xian and nodded at him with a smile. Lin Xian also nodded at Zhuge Feng in response. It's him. Chu Feng was discussing something in front of the group of experts from the Chu family when he saw Lin Xian. He didn't have any grudges with Lin Xian, but he was very displeased that Lin Xian had so many beautiful girls beside him. It's him. Not far away, the people from the Feng family were stunned. Then they saw Lin Xian. Bastard. Give me your life. After Feng Ling saw Lin Xian, her eyes glittered with killing intent. Especially on that street, her butt kept on bleeding and the back was red. It attracted many people's fingers, and she was simply humiliated to death. She deeply hated that person. She knew she would see him here. Now she really saw him. Bastard. Ah, Ling Ling. Feng Qinghao didn't even react and Feng Ling already rushed over. What's wrong with this girl? Behind, Feng Ling's father tightly frowned and asked. Ling Ling had some friction with that person. This girl, she simply. Ah. Lin Xian was stunned for a bit. He felt a wave of aura lock onto him. Then a wave of power exploded towards him. Everyone's gazes were all attracted by that place. Why did they suddenly start fighting? Damn. It's her again? Lin Xian had a headache when he saw that woman. She was crazy. Boom, in the next instant, Lin Xian's fist collided with Feng Ling's fist. The two of them flashed with lightning. Isn't that the Feng family's girl, Feng Ling? Who's the other one? Lin Xian. China's Lin Xian. He's also very famous. In the Martial Arts Academy, he took first place and defeated Morong Yu and Duan Lingxiao. What? Not only that, he also defeated them in a cross-level battle. I say you're crazy. Crazy woman. Lin Xian scolded. You dare scold me? Feng Ling gritted her teeth. Chapter 1304. Lin Xian and Feng Ling faced each other. Almost everyone's attention was on them. Damn it. Why can't I scold you? Crazy woman. Crazy woman. Crack crack crack. Feng Ling clenched her fists. Watch carefully. One of them is Lin Xian from China. He's the top student in the Martial Arts Academy. He once defeated Duan Lingxiao, who was a heavenly venerable. The other is Feng Ling from Feng Nation. She's the most talented person in the Feng family in the past 100 years. These two people seem to have some conflict. If they fight, we'll have a chance to learn about the competition later. A powerhouse said to the people behind him. All of you watch carefully. Okay. Space seal. Feng Ling directly sealed the space around her and Lin Xian. The humiliation from a few days ago. I'll make you pay back tenfold. Lightning surrounded Feng Ling's body. Lin Xian's purple lightning also surrounded her. I'm not afraid of you, crazy woman. You're still scolding me. Feng Ling's eyes flashed with anger. Take this. She shouted and then rushed toward Lin Xian. At this moment, a figure directly broke through the space seal released by Feng Ling and blocked in front of Feng Ling. Enough. Stop fooling around. Feng Qingyang stared at his daughter. Feng Ling quickly stopped. Father. Quickly retreat. Feng Qingyang bellowed. It was obvious that Feng Ling was still very afraid of her father. Oh. Then, she pouted and glared at Lin Xian behind her. She gritted her teeth and said, I'll let you go today. When the competition comes, I'll make you pay the price. Crazy woman. Lin Xian did not give Feng Ling face just because her father was here. You. Feng Ling gritted her teeth. Then she waved her hand angrily and turned to leave. Feng Qingyang smiled and said to Lin Xian, Little brother Lin Xian, please don't worry. My daughter has been spoiled since she was young. She doesn't know her manners. Lin Xian nodded. She's a little spoiled. Okay, I'll go back and teach this girl a lesson. Feng Qingyang nodded at Lin Xian, and then walked away. It's a pity that they didn't fight. Some people at the side discussed. It's fine if they didn't fight, I don't need to observe. What do you know? Can you defeat the heavenly venerable Duan Lingxiao at the domain realm? That Duan Lingxiao is no ordinary person. The pitiful Duan Lingxiao had become the comparison for these powerhouses to introduce Lin Xian to their juniors. That's right, Duan Lingxiao was very strong. He was the son of the master of the trial union. His status was the same as Murong Yu's. However, he had actually lost to Lin Xian, a domain realm cultivator, when he was only a heavenly venerate. Therefore, in these people's eyes, Lin Xian, who looked ordinary, was actually the one they paid attention to the most. Defeating a heavenly venerable as a domain realm cultivator was not a big deal. Although it was difficult, many people present could do it. However, defeating a top genius like Duan Lingxiao was a little exaggerated. Lin Xian walked over to the Xiao family helplessly. Lin Xian, do you have a grudge with this Feng Lingxiao? Revered Master Xiao asked. Xiao Runing also looked at Lin Xian curiously. Wasn't Lin Xian very attractive to girls? Feng Ling was also very beautiful. Logically speaking, they shouldn't be in such a hostile relationship. Lin Xian shrugged helplessly. We had a little conflict before. This woman is crazy. It's as if I'm her father's murderer. This Feng Lingxiao is very powerful. You have to be careful. Xinyue, you have to be careful too. Xiao Xinyue and Lin Xian nodded. Lingling, don't provoke this Lin Xian in the future. Feng Qingyang looked at Feng Ling and said. Why? Feng Ling said unhappily. You might not be his match. Besides, he has the powerful Azura Palace and the Art Pavilion group behind him. So what? Can he compare to my Feng family? Feng Ling gritted her teeth. I can't compare to him now, but it doesn't mean I can't compare to him in the future. I don't care. I just don't like him. I just want to teach him a lesson. Also, who said I'm afraid of him? It's good that he can defeat Duan Ling Xiao. However, it doesn't mean I can't defeat him. Feng Ling was about to go crazy. Lingling, he didn't do anything wrong when he bought breakfast. Feng Qinghao said. You're actually speaking for an outsider. I don't care. I just don't like him. Feng Ling said frantically. Then the people from the Feng family shook their heads helplessly. In short, don't let this Lin Xian affect your judgment. Your goal isn't just to defeat him. The most important thing now is to get into the top 10 of the Sky Martial Assembly and enter the God's Awakening door. You won't get anything by defeating him. However, if you enter the God's Awakening door, you'll get real benefits. Feng Ling nodded. Oh, I understand. One after another, people arrived at the summit of the North Pole. At this time, Morong Feng walked out and said, Everyone, since you're here, you should rest. Tomorrow morning, the Sky Martial Assembly will officially begin. Then, everyone set up their tents and went inside to rest. Although it was cold here, with their strength, it didn't matter if they waited here. When the Sky Martial Assembly begins, let's work together. In another corner, a few people stood there, enjoying the cold wind and smoking. Duan Ling Xiao, Xiao Yin, Su Jiming and Qin Ming. Duan Ling Xiao stood there thinking about something. It was Xiao Yun and the other two who came to find him. Xiao Yun already knew that Lin Xian had taken the poison pill. However, he was even more flustered. Why? This Lin Xian had the Yixian group and even the Azura Palace behind him. Although he couldn't compare to the Xiao family now, with the Yixian group's rising momentum, it wouldn't take long for them to suppress the Xiao family. This world only looked at benefits. When the benefits that the Xiao family could bring to the Evil Fiend Temple couldn't compare to Lin Xian, then Lin Xian would be able to suppress him. Therefore, he still hoped that Lin Xian would die. Even if he didn't die, at least he couldn't enter the God's Awakening door. As long as they could enter the God's Awakening door and Lin Xian couldn't, when they came out, Lin Xian wouldn't be their opponent. Duan Ling Xiao glanced at them. No need. Duan Ling Xiao said indifferently. Young Master Duan, if you don't have any worries, why did you come here alone to smoke? Working alone can't be compared to working with a few people, right? Moreover, I'm afraid that it's not just us, the others are also looking for cooperation. Duan Ling Xiao paused, then looked at them. How do we cooperate? Lin Xian chatted with the Xiao family for a while, then sneaked over to Ling Ying and the others. Young Master Lin. Chapter 1305. To Duan Ling Xiao, losing to Lin Xian was a huge blow to him. What was his status? What was his strength? He actually lost to Lin Xian. Not only did he lose, he was also defeated by Lin Xian. Although it was a simulated battle in a virtual pod, it still proved something. However, he was unconvinced. He always felt that if they really fought, he could still win. But, once a person loses, especially for someone who was extremely arrogant and confident, the devil in his heart would be very big. Xiao Yin smiled and said, It's very simple. There are a total of 3 rounds in the Sky Martial Assembly. Other than the first round, I don't know about the other 2 rounds, but they should be tests with a higher degree of freedom. Let's work together. At the same time, we'll stop Lin Xian from entering the God's Awakening door. Okay. Duan Ling Xiao nodded. Let's talk about it after the competition. After saying that, he walked away. To him, although he didn't think highly of these people, he had to admit that their strength was quite high. They should be able to rank in the top 50 of the 250 people. However, he obviously knew that these people wanted to use his strength to enter the God's Awakening door more effectively. However, if Lin Xian couldn't enter the God's Awakening door, that was the most important thing to him. Little Ling Ying. Lin Xian slipped into Ling Ying's tent. Ling Ying then rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. What are you doing here? I missed you. Ling Ying then rolled her eyes again. My dad knows that you, Chuxue, and I are in a relationship. Uncle Han also knows. Lin Xian. What did he say? Lin Xian swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He told me to find a chance to kill you. Tisk, how is that possible? Lin Xian hugged Ling Ying's delicate body. Lin Xian was secretly shocked. In other words, these 2 families tacitly agreed to this matter? Holy shit. What a happy life. My dad asked me when I'm getting married. Ling Ying then said in a low voice. Lin Xian. Do you want it that early? Ling Ying tidied her hair and said. I don't want to either. Wait until we've all stabilized, okay? Lin Xian asked. Whatever. I'm just being casual. Ling Ying said. At this moment, Ling Hai came in and saw this scene. Cough, cough, cough. Uncle Ling. Lin Xian immediately released Ling Ying and coughed dryly. Come out. I have something to tell you. Ling Hai said to Lin Xian. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lin Xian then looked at Ling Ying pleadingly. Ling Ying rolled his eyes at him, meaning to tell him to do as he saw fit. I don't care. Uncle Ling, what's the matter? Lin Xian was simply too obedient. He had no parents and had never felt the love of his parents. It was the same when he was on Earth. This was also why the Dongfang family on Earth looked down on him so much. It was because he had no background. In comparison, Lin Xian liked this place more. Smoke. Ling Hai handed Lin Xian a cigarette. Lin Xian took it. It's about you, little Ling and Chuxue. Of course, there might be other girls. I know all about it. Lin Xian. That. Uncle Ling. Ling Hai took a puff and said, I don't care about that. You just have to treat little Ling well. Since she's willing, it means that she likes you a lot. Our Ling family is considered a big family. Although the daughter of the Ling family is a joke, as long as she's happy, it's fine. However, as a man, you must be responsible and capable. Lin Xian nodded. I know. What the hell do you know? Every time I call little Ling, I don't see you with her. Cough, cough, cough. Lin Xian coughed dryly. I don't care about that. You know what you're doing. As a man, of course, I understand the psychology of every man. But everything depends on whether you have the ability. At least for now, you still have the ability. You defeated Duan Lingxiao, but how far can you go? You need to prove to me and to Han Guang in this Sky Marshal Conference. Lin Xian nodded. Don't worry, I will definitely get into the top 10. Top 10? Lin Xian scratched his head. Top 5. Top 5? Alright, first place. Ling Hai smiled and patted Lin Xian's shoulder. If you can get first place, then you have to get first place. Let me see where you are ranked among the top young talents of the entire continent. I understand. Also, what about the matter with little Ling? Ling Hai frowned and asked. Lin Xian obviously knew what Ling Hai was talking about. I've asked a top Heavenly Dao Realm expert. She didn't have a solution either, but she gave me a necklace. It's been with Ling Ying all this time. She said that wearing the necklace can calm a person's vagina. Ling Hai shook his head. It's useless. Useless? If it was really useful, then those people wouldn't have been blinded by Shura. Do you think I can't find a spiritual artifact that can calm a person's mind in this world? Ling Hai said. Lin Xian frowned. Back then Ling Longshui said that it might be useful. She would think of a solution. Then, Ling Hai said. I don't know either, so I handed little Ling to you. Do you really have no solution? Lin Xian said. I will think of a solution. After this is over, I'll find a Fey race expert. She should have a solution. Fey race expert? Lin Xian nodded. Yeah, she's an expert who's very good at divining heavenly secrets. I believe she will have a solution. Ling Hai paused. You can't be talking about a Qilin powerhouse, right? Qilin? I think she's a Qilin. You can find her? You know her? Ling Hai looked at Lin Xian in shock. Lin Xian nodded. I don't know her, but I have a friend who knows her. I went there once. Ling Hai looked at Lin Xian in shock. Uncle Ling, that senior is very powerful, right? Ling Hai said. I've only seen her in ancient texts. I can't be sure if it's the same person, but if it's her, she's very powerful. She seems to have been at the peak of existence 10,000 years ago, or even longer. Rumor has it that she's the only one who has the chance to step into the void. But until now she hasn't. You can see how difficult it is to become a true god. I'll go take a look. Alright, since I'm handing little Ing to you, I hope you can take responsibility. If you really can't, then there's no other way. I'm leaving. Then Ling Hai patted Lin Xian's shoulder and walked away. Lin Xian clenched his fists and returned to Ling Ying's tent. Chapter 1306. When Lin Xian went in, Ling Ying hurriedly sat there. What's wrong? Lin Xian frowned. No, nothing. Ling Ying quickly shook his head. Lin Xian looked at this girl curiously. What was she doing just now? It felt like she was leaning against the tent and listening to their conversation. She couldn't have heard it, right? If Ling Ying released a bit of his power to increase his hearing, he should be able to hear it with his Empyrean level hearing. What did you hear? Lin Xian asked. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian. What is an Azura? Lin Xian. It seemed like she heard it. It's nothing. Leave this matter to me. As your man, this is a small matter. Lin Xian said. It's definitely not that easy. Ling Ying shook his head and looked at Lin Xian asking. What is it? Why did my dad and you hide it from me? It's nothing. It's really nothing. If there was really something, would I be able to leisurely participate in the Sky Martial Assembly? Lin Xian said. Oh. Ling Ying nodded. All right. Rest. It's daybreak. We'll prepare for the Sky Martial Assembly. The next morning Lin Xian climbed out of Ling Ying's tent. When he came out, there was already a group of people standing outside. Then Lin Xian and Ling Ying came out together. Many people saw it. Ka. Xiaoyan clenched his fist tightly. Ling Ying was the woman he had always liked. However, she was intercepted by this Lin Xian halfway. He really didn't understand. If it was the current Lin Xian, Xiaoyan admitted that he was quite outstanding. However, what about before? Previously, it was really a P*SS. What did he lack from Lin Xian? Why was Ling Ying his girlfriend before? Morong Feng glanced at Lin Xian and Ling Ying. This brat and Ling Ying are boyfriend and girlfriend? What a pity. He wanted to see if there was a chance for his daughter to. Little Yu, look at her. Morong Feng said to Morong Yu, who was beside him. Look at what? Morong Yu asked in surprise. When did Tiandu's Ling become Lin Xian's girlfriend? What about you? You and Lin Xian were in the divine domain for half a year, and nothing happened? Morong Feng. She glanced. As expected, Ling Ying was Lin Xian's woman, and this Lin Xian wanted to pursue her? Hatoe. Dog of a man. It's not like I have to be Lin Xian's girlfriend. Morong Yu mumbled. Sai, your father really has the impulse to be his father-in-law. Forget it. This Sky Martial Assembly is very important. With your strength, it shouldn't be a problem for you to enter the top 10. However, there are many experts this time. Let's not talk about Lin Xian. Right now, those people around Lin Xian, whether it's Ling Ying, Han Chuxue, or those from the Martial Arts Academy, Wu Yu Han, etc., including the Feng family, the Chu family, Duan Lingxiao, Qi Tianqing, etc. You mustn't be careless. If you, the daughter of the Temple Master, don't enter the door of God's awakening, your father's face will be gone. Impossible. Morong Yu said confidently. She had absolute confidence in her own strength. The main thing was that her realm had almost returned. In this 1 month, she had spent day and night in the dangerous areas of the Demon Beast domain. Her realm had also reached the 5 stars of the Sky Sovereign realm. Although there were definitely many people who were above the 5 stars of the Sky Sovereign realm, she was confident. It's good that you're confident. Everyone walked out one after another. The surrounding people stayed in the surroundings. Start the live broadcast, Morong Feng said. Okay. Then dozens of staff members turned on the live broadcast in dozens of positions. The live broadcast was very necessary, because it would allow the children of the continent to see the elegance of these people. Their ages were not too far apart, so why were they so lacking in this aspect? This would definitely stimulate the fighting spirit of the people of the continent. It's starting. The live broadcast is starting. Where's Lin Xian? Wow. This little brother is so handsome. He's really quite handsome. Miao Xiao Miao Lu Yufan Yi Zhao Yunqi, Zichu, and Xian, and of course, Lan Xingxing also came. They were not very familiar with each other, but they were still friends. They gathered together to watch the live broadcast of the Sky Martial Conference. They had been waiting for a long time. On the other side, Ling Longshui and the others were also sitting in the living room, watching the Sky Martial Conference on the television. Let's watch the live broadcast together? Mu Rongqing carried a laptop to Luo Chenxi's office. What live broadcast? The Sky Marshal Conference. Sure. Then the two women sat together. Of course, they usually did not pay attention to the Sky Marshal Conference. It was because of Lin Xian and some other good friends that they paid attention to the Sky Marshal Conference. On the other side, Bai Xianxian and Leng Wuxin sat together and watched the start of the Sky Marshal Conference. Let's stop for a while. In another unknown place, Zhao Mengyue said. Then a few figures flashed to her side. Leader, what's the matter? Watch the live broadcast. The Sky Marshal Conference. Zhao Mengyue said indifferently. Then she looked at Linya, who was in a daze, and said, Linya, you can see your brother now. Why don't you come? Linya walked over. Then Zhao Mengyue said, in the future, these people will be our enemies. Now is the time for you to familiarize yourselves with them. I have to admit that some of them are very powerful. Don't hold the attitude of watching a show. Watch the Sky Marshal Conference with an attitude of understanding and learning. Okay. A few thousand outsiders, who were the relatives and clansmen of those who were participating in the Sky Marshal Conference, were watching from the sidelines, including Ling Hai, Han Guang, and the others. The 250 participants were gathered in the center. Then, dozens of experts from the three major powers walked to the center. Mu Rongfeng, Duan Tianming, and Qi Tianshu, three middle-aged men, were the three leaders of the Sanctuary, the Trial Union, and the Bounty Hunter Guild. Now, I will announce some of the details of the Sky Marshal Conference. Mu Rongfeng glanced at the crowd and said, this Sky Marshal Conference will be divided into 3 rounds. The total points of the 3 rounds will determine the final ranking. The top 10 will be rewarded with the right to enter the God's Awakening door. The top 30 will enter another secret realm. Although it's not as good as the God's Awakening door, it's not bad either. The first round of the competition is a martial arts competition between martial artists. This time, the entire competition will be broadcasted live. I hope that everyone in the continent will be able to see the glory of these children and become existences like them in the future. Become Empyreans in their 20s. Become the pride of the continent's people. Mu Rongfeng then said. In this competition, there will be a total of 250 people. The number of people is not large, but the significance is huge. The rules are as follows. Each person will fight a total of 15 rounds. If you win, you will gain 1 point. If you lose, you will lose 1 point. The system will automatically arrange those martial artists who have the same number of wins or losses as you. Simply put, except for the first round, in every other round, your opponents will have the same number of wins or losses as you. Chapter 1307. The rules of the Sky Marshal Assembly were different from before. The previous rules were a random 1v1. The winner would advance and the loser would be eliminated. This time, although it was also a random 1v1, the rules were changed. No matter who won or lost, they would have to fight 15 matches. Winning a match would earn them 1 point, and losing a match would cost them 1 point. If your opponent was close to you, for example, if you won 5 matches without losing a single match, then your points would be 5 points. Then, your opponent would also win 5 matches without losing a single match. If not, then you would meet someone who won 4 matches. In any case, the closer you were to your opponent. Try to make both sides have the same strength. Lin Xian slightly raised his eyebrows. This is quite interesting. Fighting 15 matches is exhausting. Ling Ying stretched his body. There's nothing we can do about it. This Sky Marshal Assembly is too important, so it must be especially strict. It's normal for it to be a little complicated. Mainly, if it's a normal match, it's very easy for someone in the top 10 to be defeated by someone in the top 10. Wouldn't that be very sad? Moreover, this time, it's not just a match that can determine the winner. It should be a point system. The match is just a part of the competition. Wu Yuhan shrugged and said with a smile. Lin Xian glanced at Wu Yuhan. It was clear that his sister had appeared. Then try your best to fight. Lin Xian said. All right, now do you have any questions? Mu Rongfeng swept his gaze over everyone. No one replied. Then let's prepare for the martial arts competition. During the martial arts competition, there is an important rule. You are not allowed to use any spirit weapons or props. Although spirit weapons are also a part of strength, everyone comes from all over the world. Some have big families and businesses, while others may only be ordinary. The disparity between the spirit weapons you take out is relatively large, which will have a greater impact on your combat strength. Then we have powerful martial skills that can only be used with spirit tools. What should we do? Someone asked. Murongfeng said, there are all kinds of offensive weapons here. All of them are of the same grade, Earth rank 5-star. Take them before you go on stage. In addition, during the match, you are only allowed to use healing potions and spirit energy recovery potions. All the potions you need are also here. Only 5 bottles are allowed. These are the rules. The entire North Pole will be your battlefield. Flying out of the edge will be considered a failure. Any other questions? Everyone shook their heads. Now all viewers, please move out of the fighting area. The live broadcast will begin. The system will now match the participants for the first round. After that, a powerhouse tossed a small object into the air, which transformed into a screen. The information of the 250 participating cultivators was recorded on the screen, and the screen began to randomly select them. Lin Xian versus Zhao Haiyang. You'll be the first. The girls glanced at Lin Xian. Lin Xian shrugged and walked out. On the other side, when the girls saw Lin Xian enter the arena, they were all extremely excited. Lin Xian is up. Lu Yufan was still holding 2 small hammers in her hands. Although she wasn't present, she hoped that cheering for Lin Xian would liven up the atmosphere. Zhao Haiyang felt terrible. He had heard of this Lin Xian. It was said that he had defeated the heavenly venerable Duan Lingxiao when he was in the domain realm. How could he fight him? Although he was powerful, and to be precise, the people who could come here were not weak, he admitted that he couldn't beat Duan Lingxiao. As for this Lin Xian, no. He Zhao Haiyang was not that weak. Zhao Haiyang, 4 stars heavenly venerable, please advise me. Zhao Haiyang then cupped his fists towards Lin Xian with a sword in his hand. Lin Xian cupped his fists with a sword in his hand. Lin Xian, 6 stars heavenly venerable, please advise me. 6 stars heavenly venerable? Hearing Lin Xian's words, Duan Lingxiao and some people who were paying attention to Lin Xian frowned. After losing to Lin Xian last time, Duan Lingxiao had gone crazy to raise his cultivation realm. Although Lin Xian's cultivation realm had improved very quickly, he hadn't improved at all in the following month. His cultivation realm had improved a lot, but it was only 1 star higher than Lin Xian. Lin Xian defeated him last time when he was in the domain realm. This time, he was only 1 star lower than Lin Xian. Could he still win? He could definitely win. He didn't lack Lin Xian. He could definitely win. Who was he? He was Duan Lingxiao. Why couldn't he win? Zhao Haiyang frowned. 6 stars heavenly venerable, 2 stars higher than him? Lin Xian indicated that if he wanted to properly farm monsters every day, he would be far beyond the 6 stars heavenly venerable realm. 6 stars heavenly venerable, no wonder you dare to be so arrogant. Feng Ling snorted. His cultivation realm was the same as hers. But she didn't care. She could definitely defeat this Lin Xian. Whoosh, Zhao Haiyang waved his spirit artifact and his aura surged. Come on. He shouted and charged toward Lin Xian with a thunderous roar. Lin Xian shrugged helplessly. Get out. Whoosh, following which, Lin Xian released his spatial attribute and Zhao Haiyang, who was charging over, disappeared from the spot and appeared outside the battle arena at the North Pole. Everyone. The release of the space attribute can't be blocked at all. Yeah. As long as his cultivation realm is lower than Lin Xian's, he can use the space attribute to send him out of the competition area. This is the brainless part of the space attribute. However, even if his cultivation realm is lower than Lin Xian's, if he's strong enough, he can still break free from the space attribute. It's a pity that he was sent out of the competition area by the space attribute without any chance to fight back. If they really fight, he won't be Lin Xian's match. The strong cultivators discussed fervently. Zhao Haiyang clenched his fists. That's it. He couldn't accept it. If he had a good fight with Lin Xian, he might have had a chance. However, this Lin Xian used the space attribute to send him out. He had no chance at all. Who could he blame? He could only blame his cultivation realm for not being as high as Lin Xian's. He could only blame himself for not having the space attribute. First round, Lin Xian wins 1 point. Next round, the selection will begin. Oh, this is so boring. Miao Xiaomiao rested her chin on her hand as she watched the live broadcast. Then, she glanced at the bullet screen. There were still many people scolding Lin Xian. Why? Because he didn't even dare to fight and just sent him out. If this wasn't cowardice, then what was? Of course, some of them were rational. Those comments were pure idiocy. The space attribute didn't count as one's own strength. He could still preserve his strength for later battles. There was nothing wrong with that. It'll be interesting later on. After Lin Xian wins 8 or 9 in a row, his opponents will all have 8 or 9 in a row. He'll be very powerful. Yi Yi said softly. Chapter 1308. 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours passed just like that. Some matches were really fast, and some were really a waste of time. Lin Xian and the rest had already fought 9 matches, and the next match was the 10th match. Everyone, including Wang Xintong, had won 9 matches in a row. Those who weren't their match couldn't do it. One had to know that the people they had met before were people who had won 7 or 8 matches in a row. But their skills were a level higher. There were many people who had won 9 matches in a row like them, but there were definitely not many. Next, they would definitely meet those who had won 9 matches in a row. The next matches would be even more difficult. What made everyone want to curse was that bastard Lin Xian. In every match, he relied on his powerful spatial power and his high realm advantage to send people out. That's right, Lin Xian hadn't really fought a match yet. Then those people who were defending Lin Xian before really started cursing. F***CK. Shameless bastard. Next match, please look at the big screen. Following that, the big screen began to scroll, and finally, Lin Xian appeared again. Lin Xian's name showed 9 matches in a row, and Lin Xian's opponent, Su Jiming, 9 matches in a row. In fact, it had to be said that Su Jiming was indeed powerful, otherwise he wouldn't have won 9 matches in a row. At the very least, this Su Jiming should have the strength to be in the top 50, or even the top 30. It was a pity that he met Lin Xian. It was really a small world for enemies. After Su Jiming saw his opponent, his brows suddenly furrowed. Although he was very unhappy with this Lin Xian, he had to admit that this Lin Xian was indeed powerful. Oh ho, this match is going to be interesting. Finally, this Lin Xian met Su Jiming. I know this Su Jiming, the eldest son of the Ice Country's Su family. He's very strong, and his realm has also reached 6 stars of the Sky Venerable Realm, the same as Lin Xian. At the very least, Lin Xian's space shouldn't have much effect on him, and can only slightly restrict him. This match is definitely going to be interesting. F***CK. Look at the other spatial attribute warriors. Out of the 250 people, there should be at least a few dozen with spatial attributes. Although spatial attributes are rare, these people are all top-notch, selected by the continent. It's normal for them to have spatial attributes. I don't see anyone else like this. Bastard. Bastard. This bastard. Give him a good beating. This Lin Xian. Morongqing glanced at the bullet screen. They were all begging Su Jiming to beat him up. If you said that Lin Xian was despicable, then he was indeed despicable. But at least in this match, he didn't do anything. Wasn't he the only one who used the spatial attribute to send his opponents out continuously? There was nothing wrong with that. This bullet screen. These people were very unhappy. It couldn't be helped. This Lin Xian had a despicable physique. No matter what he did, people would always magnify his despicable nature. This match is going to be interesting. Those experts were also whispering to each other. The 10th match, all 9 consecutive victories. At this point, spatial attribute warriors are basically not allowed to send their opponents out directly. As their winning streaks increase, their strength will be closer and closer. Moreover, at the same realm, this Su Jiming can easily break free from Lin Xian's spatial jump power. This is going to be interesting. How despicable. A spatial attribute warrior has been defeating his opponents like this for 9 consecutive victories. This young lady wants to see how long you can last. Feng Ling gritted her teeth. No matter what this Lin Xian was doing, she just couldn't stand him. Very, very unhappy. Lingling, he's a spatial attribute warrior. There's nothing wrong with his fighting style. You can do it too. I don't care. But you can't say that it's wrong for him to fight like this. Feng Qingyang looked at his daughter helplessly. Lin Xian and Su Jiming held their spiritual weapons and faced each other. Su Jiming looked at Lin Xian in front of him. He only knew one thing. When facing this Lin Xian, he couldn't think of holding back because he knew that once he held back, he would lose the chance to fight. Lin Xian. We're facing each other again. Su Jiming looked at Lin Xian and said. Use whatever moves you have. Don't make me send them out directly. Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. That won't happen. Strengthen the laws of nature. Following that, Su Jiming's aura sword. That's right, this was his laws of nature. It wasn't top-notch, but it was definitely not bad either. It could directly strengthen his strength by up to 80%. That was close to doubling his strength. 6 stars Heavenly Venerable Realm meant that his strength was close to doubling. How was he going to fight him? Thunder Domain. Following that, he stomped his foot and the entire battlefield at the North Pole became his domain. The Thunder Domain was a simple domain. In this domain, one could forcibly increase one's lightning attribute strength by several times. Although directly releasing the laws of nature, and the domain consumed a lot of spiritual power, he knew that this was a must to fight Lin Xian. He's going all out. This Lin Xian is so powerful? Who is this Lin Xian? Why haven't I heard of him before? I've heard of this Su Jiming. Is he the singer Lin Xian? How is that possible? How can he be the singer Lin Xian? This Lin Xian is so shameless. How can he be the same person as my idol Lin Xian? That's true. Not many of these people knew Lin Xian, and not many knew about Lin Xian. Lin Xian had won first place in the Martial Arts Academy competition. This news was only known to the insiders. Many martial artists didn't know about it. Apart from that, Lin Xian was really a nobody. On the other hand, Su Jiming was quite famous. It couldn't be helped. This Su Jiming had never kept a low profile since he was young. Therefore, when they saw that Su Jiming was going all out to fight Lin Xian, they were stunned. This Lin Xian was actually so important to him. Take this. Heaven Tier Martial Art Technique Lightning Bird. Following that, the lightning condensed and then converged into the shape of a few birds. They even let out a cry and carried a huge power. Under the amplification of his strength and the power of the lightning domain, they charged towards Lin Xian with unimaginable power. Hiss, this power should be able to cause harm to those in the virtuality stage, right? More or less. This Su Jiming's law and domain seemed to amplify his strength. How terrifying. Indeed. Those who can participate in the Tianwu tournament are not weak. Yeah. Then how is this Lin Xian going to dodge? Use the power of space to dodge? That should be the simplest way. What? He is actually condensing lightning. He wants to compete with this Su Jiming in strength? Is he crazy? This Su Jiming has already released his law domain. With this martial art technique, he wants to compete in strength? Everyone was shocked. Chapter 1309. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. In terms of strength, he had never been afraid of anyone. Your laws and domain were amplified, but Lin Xian naturally had an amplification. And it was a 100% amplification. Heaven Tier Martial Technique, Thunder Surging Heavens. The purple lightning rushed towards the extreme electric birds. You're courting death. Su Jiming was already prepared for Lin Xian to release space to dodge his martial technique. Then he would immediately approach and launch a series of attacks. But he wanted to compete with him in strength? Normally, he would be a little afraid, but his martial technique was amplified by both laws and domain. He dared to compete? Attribute exchange, double strength. Create laws of nature, raise. Boom. When the two lightning bolts collided, everyone was stunned. Those strong people also did not understand why Lin Xian wanted to compete with Su Jiming in strength. But when they saw this scene, they understood. This Lin Xian's strength was actually not weaker than Su Jiming's. Su Jiming was stunned. His strength was amplified by both laws, and this Lin Xian's martial technique was not a god-tier martial technique, so how could his strength be on par with his? Could it be that he also released his domain? No, I didn't feel any domain power. Laws. There was indeed a surge of law power emerging. That should be his laws, but was his laws also amplifying strength? Why could it amplify so much? Brother, it's a big taboo to be in a daze during a battle. Lin Xian's voice suddenly came from behind Su Jiming. Su Jiming's pupils suddenly shrank. He quickly turned around to attack, but Lin Xian's figure disappeared again. Eat shit. Bang! Lin Xian kicked his back, and then he fell to the ground like a dog eating shit. Get out! In the next instant, Su Jiming appeared outside of the arena with his aura in disorder. Everyone. Why is it like this again? It's like this again? Both of them have 9 consecutive victories, and this Lin Xian actually defeated Su Jiming in a crushing manner? Why? Why is it like this? How is he stronger than Su Jiming? Why is his strength so strong? His laws and domain double amplification. And then it was blocked by Lin Xian's strength. Is it a tie? Su Jiming was really stupefied. He was still watching the two powers colliding, and then Lin Xian appeared behind him. Damn it. Space attribute was really powerful. It could only be limited of time. Otherwise, there was no way. He just lacked a space. This was something that everyone couldn't figure out. At the same level, Su Jiming released his laws and domain to double amplify the power of his martial arts. But he didn't release his domain. He only released his laws. As for what kind of laws it was, it didn't increase his aura, but it should be a kind of laws that increase strength. Then, how could his laws be comparable to Su Jiming's combined laws and domain? They were both top experts, but was there really a better genius among the top geniuses? Even if there was, how big was the gap? Lin Xian had shown them. However, everyone couldn't understand. Lingling, are you still saying that Lin Xian is inferior to you? Feng Qingyang asked. It's just a powerful law, and the amplification isn't weak. So what? My laws aren't weak either. Feng Qingyang shook his head secretly. This girl. When the time came for her to experience a real failure, she would probably understand. Lin Xian wins. Lin Xian won, but everyone was baffled. How did he win? Lin Xian stretched his body and walked to the girls. To be honest, I really don't know why you're so strong. How much did your laws of creation increase? Ling Ying elbowed Lin Xian and asked. The few of them who were most familiar with Lin Xian knew about Lin Xian's laws. Lin Xian was so strong that he could defeat Su Jiming in terms of strength. But wasn't the increase a little too much? Not much. Lin Xian said. It's definitely not little. In fact, Lin Xian didn't increase his strength by much. The main thing was that no one knew that Lin Xian had a law that could double his strength. It could increase his strength for no reason. This was equivalent to the power of a law. The system was still awesome. Next round, Ling Ying and Li Tianchao, please come on stage. I'm going. Then Ling Ying walked over. How do you feel? Su Jiming walked to the side of Xiao Yun and the others. They quickly asked. I don't understand. I don't understand why he's so strong. We're both using heaven-ranked martial skills. Even my martial skills are stronger than his. My strength increase and domain increase only tied with him. I really don't understand. He released his law, Xiao Yun said. And he released his law, but I didn't feel his aura rising. It should be his law power. But, can his law compare to my law and domain combined? It's really scary. Su Jiming gritted his teeth. Although he lost, it was not a big deal. He only lost 2 points. On the contrary, he would be able to fight against the 9 winners and 1 loser. His chances of winning would be higher. Moreover, there were still 2 more rounds of the Sky Martial Assembly. He might not necessarily lose. Top 10, he might have a chance. How many people could win all 15 rounds? If he lost the first round, the people he would fight later might be weaker. This could be considered good news. But he couldn't understand. Duan Ling Xiao then said indifferently, when I fought with him in the simulation pod, He was also like this. He erupted with power that didn't belong to the domain realm. Otherwise, I wouldn't have lost to him as an Empyrean. But I don't understand where that extra power comes from. Laws. Can his laws really increase his power by so much? I don't know. Let's see what he can do later. Anyway, I lost. But it's not a bad thing. Our cooperation will continue. We can't let this Lin Xian continue to get good results. Zhu Jiming said. Ling Ying's battle was still in a stalemate. Ling Ying was also a 6-star Empyrean, and his opponents were also 6-star Empyrean. Basically, these people were 5-star and 6-star. There were also 7-star, but not many. There were also 8-star, but even fewer. The highest was 8-star. They were all martial artists of the same level. The gap wouldn't be too big. The gap between realms wouldn't be too big either. The final battle was won by Ling Ying. He won 10 consecutive rounds. His luck was quite good. He met someone powerful, but not the most powerful. Someone like Duan Ling Xiao. After meeting Duan Ling Xiao, Ling Ying wasn't easy to fight. The others weren't easy to fight either. Although the gap between realms was almost closed. The battles continued one after another. Then, next battle, Lin Xian versus Zhuge Feng. Lin Xian. Wow. It's him again. Chapter 13:10. When Zhuge Feng saw that his opponent was Lin Xian, he smirked and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian also looked at Zhuge Feng. How should he put it? No matter what others said, Lin Xian felt that Zhuge Feng was stronger than those so-called Duan Lingxiao and Qi Tianqing. For some reason, Lin Xian felt that Zhuge Feng was stronger. F***ck, I'm meeting him now. When Zhuge Feng saw that his opponent was Lin Xian, he let out a long sigh of relief. He finally met him. He had wanted to have a good fight with him for a long time. During the Martial Arts Academy competition, he was tricked by Lin Xian. They hadn't even fought yet, but this time, they should be able to fight, right? Zhuge Feng and Lin Xian walked together. Zhuge Feng then smiled and said, "Let's have a good fight." Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Why don't we not do it? After all, we're on the same side. If one of us forces the other party to use his trump card, it would be a little troublesome. Zhuge Feng shrugged and said with a smile, "But in my eyes, being able to have a good fight with you might even be more important than ranking in this competition." Lin Xian, wow. Are you crazy? Lin Xian touched his forehead. I've been wanting to have a good fight for a long time. Zhuge Feng cracked his neck and stretched out his hand. A sword flew from the armory into his hand. Come on. I'm also a 6 stars heavenly venerable. This battle should be considered fair. Lin Xian held the spiritual weapon in his hand and said, "Come on then. This battle, we should be able to see a beautiful and shocking battle. Both of them have a 10-win streak. If they don't meet each other, both of them might achieve a 14-win streak or even a 15-win streak. However, this time, one of them will definitely break their winning streak." Old Feng, who do you think will win this battle? The head of the Bounty Hunter Guild, Qi Tianshu, looked at Morong Feng and asked. Lin Xian. Morong Feng smiled and said, "Oh, Old Feng, do you think so highly of this Lin Xian? Although he is indeed the champion of the Martial Arts Academy, this kid from the Zhuge family is not simple." Qi Tianshu glanced in the direction of the Zhuge family. Although his family was worried about Zhuge Feng, they trusted him more. Actually, I also think that Lin Xian has a higher chance of winning, but Duan Tianming hesitated for a moment and said, "The Zhuge family as the only warlock family in the continent, this Zhuge Feng has mastered all types of spells. Dealing with this Zhuge Feng is equivalent to dealing with a martial artist with all types of attributes. Moreover, Zhuge Feng's strength is also top-notch. Although my son lost to Lin Xian, and was even defeated by Lin Xian, I still think that he can't beat Zhuge Feng." Oh, Old Duan, even a proud person like you can say such words? Morong Feng smiled and looked at him. I'm just stating an objective fact. However, this Lin Xian is not simple either. Let's look forward to the battle between the two of them. In front of their phones and computers, everyone was nervously watching the battle. Zhuge Feng and Lin Xian were the same. They were relatively low-key. When they saw Zhuge Feng's name, most of them did not know who he was. However, since he had won 10 consecutive battles, he was definitely not weak. Moreover, the most exaggerated thing was that Zhuge Feng did not use any spells in his previous 10 consecutive victories. Because he did not use any spells, the people watching the live broadcast could not recognize him as a member of the Zhuge family. However, as soon as he used his magic, many people would instantly realize who he was. This was because the only family in the continent that knew spells was the Zhuge family. Lin Xian and Zhuge Feng's aura rose at the same time. Open! In the next moment, Zhuge Feng stomped his foot, and the ground of the entire North Pole flashed with a blue array. The 8 gates, the 5 elements, and the 4 divisions. Lin Xian was currently standing at the gate of death. This scene caused everyone to be stunned. It seems that in Zhuge Feng's heart, Lin Xian is indeed a strong opponent. Duan Tianming nodded and said, Zhuge Feng is a smart person. It can't be Big Brother. He's already playing this? Lin Xian frowned when he felt the power. I have to. What if I don't have a chance to use it? Zhuge Feng smiled and said. Then come. Whoosh! Lin Xian suddenly increased his speed. Lightning flashed as he rushed toward Zhuge Feng. The array has been set. It's not that easy. Zhuge Feng stomped his foot. Death Gate, close. In the next moment, Lin Xian found that he could not rush out. Space jump. Lin Xian tried to use it, but found that he could not jump out of this death gate. He was tightly confined to this small area. 5 elements would bind. Whoosh! The array rotated. Countless vines rushed toward Lin Xian from all directions. Fire burn. Whoosh! Then violent flames rushed toward Lin Xian. Earth pierce. This is the power of the Zhuge family. This array can even restrict the space attribute. Now, let's see if Lin Xian can break through the death gate. If he can't, then he will be passive throughout. He won't even be able to attack Zhuge Feng, and will be attacked by Zhuge Feng until the end. It's difficult, right? How many people in this world know about the 8 gates of mystic arts? If no one knows anything, how can he break through? Some of the strong people were discussing. No wonder Lin Xian always said that Zhuge Feng is very, very strong. Now it seems that it is true. Even in the martial arts academy competition, he did not use his full strength. Linging said after some thought. In the martial arts academy competition, he did not meet the strongest people. In the battle with Lin Xian, he was tricked by Lin Xian and did not use his full strength. But now it is different. Morong, you also looked at Zhuge Feng. Zhuge Feng was a member of the Storm Squad. He was the only male other than Lin Xian. It was enough to see how much Lin Xian valued Zhuge Feng. Boom! In the next moment, Lin Xian was engulfed by flames, vines, and earth thorns. For a moment, no one could see him. Zhuge Feng frowned. In the next moment, he suddenly turned around and blocked Lin Xian's attack from behind with his sword. What? How did he suddenly break through the death gate and appear behind Zhuge Feng? I didn't see it clearly. I really didn't see it clearly. The gate of death is a very powerful place. It can ignore everything in the world and space. Could Lin Xian have found a way to break the gate of death? No way. Isn't the death gate the hardest to break? Everyone was shocked. Chapter 13:11. Lin Xian and Zhuge Feng's powers collided, and Zhuge Feng staggered backward. 5 Thunder Celestial Phenomenon. Sizzle. The lightning struck Zhuge Feng. Earth wall. Swoosh. In the next instant, a huge earth wall appeared in front of Zhuge Feng, blocking Lin Xian's 5 Thunder Celestial Phenomenon and shattering it. As the dust settled, the two of them switched positions. Zhuge Feng was also puzzled. How did you come out of the death gate? He asked Lin Xian. See for yourself. Lin Xian smiled. Zhuge Feng took a look, and his pupil shrank. The Zhuge family's experts also widened their eyes. The death gate was not broken, it was destroyed. How did he destroy the death gate? Once the gate of death was forcefully attacked, it would cause the power of the 5 elements and 4 symbols to bombard it violently. Trying to destroy the gate of death directly, in a situation where both parties were evenly matched, was definitely courting death. However, he really did it. The point is, I still don't know how he did it. The group of experts was shocked. Perhaps the people watching the live broadcast did not understand, but they could roughly understand that Lin Xian seemed to be in a very dangerous place, but he managed to avoid danger. Lin Xian smiled and said, "I can't tell you." Zhuge Feng's sword was surrounded by lightning. "Then let's not play this game anymore. Let's have a good fight. Speed, strength, spirit." Then his aura rose rapidly. Lin Xian. Damn. The Zhuge family's technique was really powerful. It could directly increase speed, strength, and other attributes. Lin Xian felt that the increase was not weak. How could Duan Lingxiao compare? In Lin Xian's opinion, if Duan Lingxiao and Zhuge Feng were to fight at the same level, Duan Lingxiao would have no chance of winning. Attribute exchange, strength, speed, spirit. Go all out. Boom. In the next instant, the two of them collided and the whole ground cracked. Zhuge Feng frowned. How did Lin Xian's strength increase so much? Then, the two figures attacked, defended, and shuttled back and forth at an extremely fast speed and frequency. It looked like they were evenly matched. This Lin Xian feels so strong. He really isn't as weak as before. Nonsense. He was too lazy to fight properly before. Those people before couldn't make him fight properly. But now he will definitely take this opponent seriously. Looks like we've misunderstood this Lin Xian. He really is an expert. Just from the scene of the two people fighting, these people could see the strength of one person, or at least how strong one's combat power was. Lingling, no matter if you meet Zhuge Feng or Lin Xian later on, just admit defeat. Feng Qingyang said as he watched the battle. Why? On what basis? It's not like I can't beat them. Feng Ling clenched her fists and said, "It's not that you can't beat them, but even if you can, you will expose a lot of your strength." This is only the first round of the Tianwu conference. There are still 2 more rounds. It will be useful to preserve some strength. It's better to take less points. I don't want to. Even if I don't enter the God's Awakening door, I will still fight with my full strength. Especially this Lin Xian. Feng Ling stared at Lin Xian, who was at the top of the North Pole. Yes, he was very strong now, and he definitely had a lot of trump cards that he hadn't used yet. But she felt that she wasn't weak. "See you." Zhuge Feng suddenly pulled away. Then Lin Xian suddenly realized that he couldn't move. He lowered his head and saw that a talisman had been pasted on his arm at some point. "Young Master Lin, the battle is over." Zhuge Feng looked at Lin Xian and said. It wasn't that Lin Xian wasn't strong, but he didn't know that there was a talisman. It was said that one couldn't use tools, but talismans were an exception. You could think of it as a shaman's ability, just like a martial technique. Shamans spent a lot of time and effort to study these things, which was equivalent to learning martial techniques. So why couldn't they use them? "Young Master Lin, you can't use your spiritual energy, and you can't move your body." Zhuge Feng looked at Lin Xian and said. Lin Xian nodded. "That seems to be the case." "Then young Master Lin, do you admit defeat?" Zhuge Feng looked at Lin Xian. No matter what method he used to defeat Lin Xian, as long as it was a legitimate method, it was a victory. There was no point in continuing to fight with Lin Xian. The two of them were evenly matched, so there was no point in using big moves. It was better to end the battle with this move. Of course not. Lin Xian shook his head. Then you might get hurt. Zhuge Feng looked at Lin Xian. 10,000 swords. Swish, swish, swish. In the next moment, countless shadows of swords danced along with Zhuge Feng's 2 fingers. Defense double. Lin Xian could only forcefully block this move. Then he could use Zhuge Feng's attack to break the talisman. Damn it. He was tricked by Zhuge Feng. Damn it. Swish, swish. In the next moment, countless shadows of swords engulfed Lin Xian. Hiss. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. It should be over. It should be over. A martial artist can't use his spiritual energy. How can he block it? Those experts also felt that the battle should be over. Zhuge Feng didn't show any mercy, because this was respect to his opponent. When the dust settled, Lin Xian was half kneeling there. His clothes were ragged, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. What? Seeing this scene, everyone couldn't believe it. He was injured, but he wasn't defeated? Divine body? Morong Feng looked at Lin Xian, his eyes twinkling with radiance. He could only think of the power of the divine body. This was one of the reasons why he was so confident in Lin Xian. The divine body could heal quickly. If not for the double defense, Lin Xian's current situation would be even worse. Zhuge Feng frowned, then subconsciously took 2 steps back, increasing the distance between him and Lin Xian. This feeling was not good. "You're injured, can you still fight?" Zhuge Feng asked. "Who said I'm injured?" Lin Xian stood up and smirked. Zhuge Feng sensed that Lin Xian's aura was so stable that it was terrifying. The divine body, the power of the law of creation, allowed Lin Xian's injuries to heal instantly. The battle has just begun. Unfettered under the heavens. Lin Xian disappeared in the next moment. He rushed over. Space didn't have much effect on him in this battle, because Zhuge Feng had the ability to control space. Zhuge Feng greeted him with his sword, then stabbed Lin Xian's afterimage. Seeing this scene, the expert's pupils suddenly shrank. What a ghostly movement technique. What a fast speed. This movement technique's grade is definitely not low. Of course, Heaven Grade 10 star was definitely not low. Zhuge Feng stood in place frowning. Heavenly Thunder, 10,000 Thunder Blast. He stomped his foot, and a terrifying power erupted. No matter how fast he was, as long as his attack covered the entire North Pole, there was no place for him to escape. Law, Infinite Shadow Doppelganger. Swish, swish, swish. Thousands of Zhuge Fengs appeared beside him. Everyone. It's useless, break them all. Everyone. Chapter 13:12. This was the first time Lin Xian saw Zhuge Feng using his own law, so it was enough to see how strong he was. He didn't even use his own law before. The Infinite Shadow Doppelganger law was very powerful, and Zhuge Feng's law was definitely not weak. The doppelganger wasn't just a flower vase. The doppelganger also had the ability to attack. The most terrifying thing was that it didn't only have the ability to attack, but it also had any of Zhuge Feng's abilities. Simply put, there were thousands of doppelganger. Although each doppelganger couldn't have all of Zhuge Feng's abilities, they could still release various elemental powers, martial arts, and even the Zhuge family's spells. However, a very powerful law should be a very troublesome power, but Lin Xian had the ability to restrain it. The law of destruction. Without the law of destruction, what was the same as? It was equivalent to Lin Xian facing thousands of Zhuge Feng's doppelganger. Even if he destroyed all of Zhuge Feng's doppelganger, he would have to spend a lot of energy and spiritual energy. However, the law of destruction. No matter how powerful the doppelganger was, they were still formed by the law. No matter how many of them there were, they were still laws. Wasn't it easy for the law to break the law? Swish, swish, swish. Before Zhuge Feng could give the order, his thousands of doppelganger disappeared just like that. What? Zhuge Feng was completely confused. His law, his thousands of doppelganger. How did they all disappear suddenly? Infinite Shadow Doppelganger. Then, thousands of Zhuge Feng's doppelganger appeared again. Break. Then it was gone again. Zhuge Feng was speechless. Really, this was the only time he had encountered such a thing in his life. It was 2F** King exaggerated. This. How did the Infinite Shadow Doppelganger get broken? I can't see it. It seems like Lin Xian also released his law power, law against law. But, what is Lin Xian's law power? Why can I only feel the law but can't see anything at all? The law of destruction. Suddenly someone shouted. What? The law of destruction? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. The legendary law of destruction? How else can it be explained? The law of destruction can be released with one's will. It can destroy anything within one's ability. It's impossible to see how it's released. There's no chance to react or resist. Hiss, he actually has the law of destruction. Doesn't that mean he's definitely going to win? It's probably the case for this round, but it's not necessarily the case for the later rounds. This kind of powerful law is very useful when the opponent's realm is lower than his. However, if the opponent's realm is higher than his, the effect of this law is extremely limited. Morongfeng also looked at Lin Xian. The laws of creation and destruction. Alright, even if he was number 1 today, even if he was number 1 in the entire Tianwu assembly, he would absolutely accept it. His daughter only knew the laws of destruction, but this Lin Xian, damn, there was really a mountain taller than the other. How is it? I told you, this Lin Xian is definitely not simple. Feng Qingyang looked at his daughter and said, so what if you break the laws of nature? Wen Chime's eyes shone with fighting spirit. That's right, although she was stubborn, she had already changed from looking down on Lin Xian to seeing him as a strong opponent. The law of destruction. However, she had the law of creation. This was why Wen Chimes was called the rare genius of the Feng family. The Feng family was originally a top family. Although Wen Chime's status was not comparable to the daughters and young masters of the 3 major forces, the Feng family was not weak. It was definitely a T2 plus force, which meant that it was only weaker than the 3 major forces. Her law of creation had always been hidden. In the entire Feng family, only Feng Qingyang and her grandfather knew about it. However, it could be revealed now. This was because she was already in the heavenly venerable realm. She had the absolute ability to protect herself. Sigh. Feng Qingyang shook his head helplessly. This daughter of his was just too competitive. She was even a little arrogant. Feng Qingyang felt that it would be best if she failed. If she failed, she would only lose a battle. However, she might be able to obtain a better life. She would be able to change herself. This was what her father wanted to see. Young Master Lin, your law is amazing. Zhuge Feng looked at Lin Xian and said, it's still okay. How about we decide the winner with one move? Sure. Zhuge Feng smiled. Then his face turned serious. He stomped his feet, and the array began to hover around him. I haven't used this move in a long time. His clothes and hair danced wildly. In the next moment, flames, lightning, ice, and other forces erupted from the array and gathered in the air. Whoosh! Zhuge Feng leaped into the air and stood in the air. All things become one. Swoosh! It was a phenomenon of heaven and earth. All the power gathered at a certain point in the sky and locked onto Lin Xian. When Lin Xian felt the terrifying aura, he was secretly speechless. As expected, Zhuge Feng was definitely stronger than Duan Lingxiao and the rest. However, he might not be stronger than him. Divine rank martial skill world. Return to 0. Swoosh! The wind and snow had stopped. However, at this moment, a hurricane came and a blizzard came. These 2 forces are so strong. Will they be alright? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. If these forces collide, something might really happen. But they should know what's going on. Lin Xian and Zhuge Feng are really strong. When the bullet screen saw the strange phenomenon, they were all dumbfounded. I'll take back what I said earlier. This Lin Xian is really not weak. From the moment he used the spatial attribute to teleport his opponent out of the arena, I knew that he's definitely not weak. Then who will win this move? Yi and the rest watched nervously. Who will win? Ling Longyue asked. Lin Xian. Ling Longshui and Yi Renbing said in unison. With the law of creation and the law of destruction, it's impossible for him to lose. He will definitely be the first in this competition. Ling Longshui said. Little Shir, who was in her arms, and little Tianyi in Yi Renbing's arms, were excitedly watching Lin Xian on the television. Divine rank martial skill, myriad lightning heavenly prison. Lin Xian once again summoned a phenomenon of heaven and earth. Lightning, wind, and snow intertwined, and then his figure slowly rose into the sky. Come. Break. Boom. In the next instant, the 2 terrifying forces collided. At the moment of contact, they had already disappeared from everyone's line of sight. They were completely unable to see them clearly. Boom! Those who were very far away retreated. They even had to release their spiritual power to resist this terrifying force. How is it? Chapter 13:13. The 2 forces calmed down after the collision. The wind and snow stopped, and the phenomenon disappeared. The dust slowly dissipated. A figure gradually appeared in everyone's sight. The figure slowly became clear, and at the same time he slowly stood up. The other figure was half kneeling there, and did not stand up. When the dust completely dissipated, everyone's pupils shrank. The ground had been destroyed by the powerful forces of the two people. And Lin Xian won. Zhuge Feng raised his head and looked at Lin Xian, then laughed. So that's how it is. Losing is not unjust. Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief, and his bleeding arm instantly recovered due to the divine body, and stopped bleeding. Without these, I really wouldn't be your opponent. Lin Xian said. What was he referring to? Of course, it was the two great laws. Destruction and creation were really invincible laws. As Lin Xian's cultivation level increased, he could release more of the two great laws, and he was closer to being invincible. But what if he didn't have these two great laws? Lin Xian really couldn't say how strong he was. And now, he was indeed somewhat invincible. At least in Lin Xian's opinion. Zhuge Feng was definitely in the top 3, and this top 3 did not include him. Morong Yu, Zhuge Feng, and Lin Xian did not know, but Zhuge Feng was definitely in the top few. But he probably could not beat Morong Yu. This girl was really powerful. Next time, let's fight again. After saying that, Zhuge Feng's body fell down weakly. Little Feng. A few people from the Zhuge family rushed up, checked Zhuge Feng's injuries, and then breathed a sigh of relief. It's nothing serious, he will wake up in a while. Then they looked at Lin Xian and said, You are an opponent worthy of Little Feng's respect. Thank you, uncle, for your affirmation. Then they brought Zhuge Feng away for treatment. Duan Lingxiao and the others' pupils constricted as they watched this scene. That power just now. If they were the ones to block it, what would happen? Probably. No, they would definitely lose, right? Duan Lingxiao gritted his teeth. No. He wasn't certain yet. In terms of destructive power, he had never feared any of the young geniuses of the same level in this world. If Lin Xian insisted on competing with him in terms of strength, it would be Duan Lingxiao's opportunity. However, in his heart, he was becoming less and less confident. When the time comes and you fight with Lin Xian, don't fight like this. It's too dangerous, and it might even affect the following matches. If you don't handle it well, you might even miss the opportunity to enter the top 10. Do you hear me? Feng Qingyang looked at Feng Ling and asked. Wen Chime's gaze fell on Lin Xian. I didn't. Feng Qingyang. You. He sighed helplessly. This daughter of his was really spoiled. I will definitely defeat him. At this moment, the bullet screen was going crazy. Lin Xian had won, and it looked like he had defeated Zhuge Feng without much trouble. Although they weren't there, the visual impact was enough to stun them. This was also a win. Moreover, it seemed to be a crushing victory. Lin Xian sat there, recovering his spiritual power. He did not need to worry about his injuries as his divine body would heal in no time. The most important thing was to recover his spiritual power. Are you alright? A few girls walked over. I'm fine, I just need to recover my spiritual power. You guys should get ready for the next match. Okay. Ling Hai and Han Guang gathered together. In such a short time, this Lin Xian has already grown to such an extent. Ling Hai sighed. Yeah. Han Guang nodded. In fact, when he found out that his precious daughter was Lin Xian's girlfriend with another girl, he felt terrible. However, his daughter was Han Chuxue, and he knew his precious daughter too well. She would not do anything rash, but she still chose to do so. This proved that she had truly fallen in love with this Lin Xian. And now, Lin Xian's performance had indeed satisfied him. Previously, Lin Xian only won against Xiao Yun by a hair's breadth, but now, Xiao Yun should not be worth mentioning in front of him. The current Lin Xian should be in the top tier. Ling Hai said. In the future, he will definitely become a heavenly Dao expert. As for how many stars he can reach, no, in the future he might become a god. Ling Hai looked at Lin Xian and said calmly. After that, one match after another. Zhuge Feng had already woken up, and was recovering his injuries and spiritual power. It would definitely affect his future matches, but it was not too big of a problem. Ling Ying, Han Chuxue, Morong Yu, and Wu Yuhan all won 11 matches in a row. The girls had simply stunned the entire audience. Not only are they all beautiful, but they are also so powerful. It was too exaggerated. Only Wang Xintong was slightly lacking. After winning 10 matches in a row, she met Duanling Xiao in the 11th match and was defeated by Duanling Xiao. There was nothing he could do about it. Wang Xintong's dual attributes of light and water were simply too weak. However, Lin Xian had watched her climb step by step to reach her current level. To win 10 matches in a row like this, she was really, really strong. In the following matches, they all won 12 matches in a row. Wang Xintong also won. In the 13th match, they all won 13 matches in a row. Wang Xintong won another match. And now, it was estimated that there was a high chance that they would meet each other. Next match, Lin Xian versus Duanling Xiao. Murong Feng's voice sounded, and Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. He met this Duanling Xiao again. Duanling Xiao stood up. Meeting Lin Xian, he was excited and nervous. If he was excited, he could really prove himself in this match. If he won, he could make a comeback. But in this match, there was a high chance that he would lose. If he lost again, it would prove one thing. He, Duanling Xiao, really couldn't compare to Lin Xian. In the eyes of the world, he, the son of the dignified trial union's leader, couldn't compare to a person with no background. If word got out, it would be too embarrassing. Damn it! Damn it, damn it, damn it! Feng Ling was anxiously pacing back and forth. It was the 13th match. After this match, regardless of whether Lin Xian won or lost, it meant that he still had 2 matches left. If she didn't meet Lin Xian in the last 2 matches, then she really didn't have a chance. That's right, they had finished their matches. This was Lin Xian's 13th match. Ah! Why couldn't she meet Lin Xian? Young Master Lin, we can finally have a good match. Duanling Xiao took out a sword that was used for matches and looked at Lin Xian in front of him. Didn't we fight before? When you were in the heavenly venerable realm, and I was in the domain realm. Lin Xian said as he picked his ears. Duanling Xiao. Damn it. Chapter 13-14. Cough, cough, cough. Hearing Lin Xian's words, some people couldn't help but cough dryly. Wow. This Lin Xian was really a dog. He didn't do anything else but liked to poke at other people's sore spots. This was definitely Duanling Xiao's sore spot. As a top-notch martial artist, one of the best among geniuses, what he should have done was to defeat someone of a higher realm with a lower realm. However, he was defeated by someone of a lower realm. Wasn't that embarrassing? So embarrassing. Then that bastard Lin Xian had purposely brought up the matter of the heavenly venerate realm and the grand domain realm. Duanling Xiao clenched his fists, then snorted and said, "Last time we fought in a virtual pod, so it wasn't quite the same as in reality. However, I did lose to you, young Master Lin. I admit that, but this time I won't do it again." Then he waved the spirit weapon in his hand and looked at Lin Xian with bright eyes. Lin Xian shook his head. "It's useless. You don't even have the space attribute. How are you going to fight a martial artist with the space attribute?" To be honest, this Duanling Xiao was indeed powerful. Even without the space and time attributes, he was still so powerful. This was something that one could not help but admire. My realm is higher than yours. Your space attribute won't have much effect on me. So, you don't have to worry about that at all. Duanling Xiao said calmly. Also, who told him that he couldn't fight without the space attribute? Who told him that he didn't have the time attribute? As a top-notch existence, he had to have either time or space. That's right, he had time. Unfortunately, he was too conceited in the battle with Lin Xian in the virtual pod last time. He didn't even use the power of the time attribute, which led to his defeat. If he had used it, he definitely wouldn't have lost. So this time he still had a chance. His realm was higher than Lin Xian's, his attributes weren't much worse, and his martial skills weren't bad either. How could he lose? All right. Lin Xian shrugged, then stretched out his hand and a spirit weapon flew into his hand. Duanling Xiao took a deep breath. This battle was a battle to wipe away his humiliation. The auras of the two of them surged, and at the same time, lightning surrounded them. Blue and purple. There's something else that's surprising about this Lin Xian. His lightning is actually purple. The purple thunderbolt should surpass any other thunderbolt in terms of destructive power and intensity, right? Yes, this purple thunder can at least make up for the difference of one star in the Empyrean realm. So if they were to compete in thunder, there shouldn't be any difference in their realms. Last time, Duan Lingxiao lost to Lin Xian. This time, it looks like he wants to avenge himself. The reason he lost last time was probably due to his arrogance. This time, however, it's hard to say. But I really think that Lin Xian is really powerful. The battle with Zhugafeng before has already proved that. Whether it was the experts from the surrounding families, the experts from the three forces, or the people in front of their phones and computers, all of them were talking about it. Boom. The battle was about to begin. Do you still remember? Last time, I didn't even use my laws and domain. You should know that, right? Duan Lingxiao and Lin Xian's swords, which were surrounded by lightning, clashed continuously. Then Duan Lingxiao gritted his teeth and talked to Lin Xian. Bang bang bang. The two people's sword moves were extremely fast. Yes, it's useless. Why? So, you're going to use it this time? This time, I'll definitely avenge myself and tell the world who's the strongest. Bang. In the next moment, he was kicked by Lin Xian, who then slashed the clothes on his chest with his sword. In terms of swordsmanship, Lin Xian had never been afraid of anyone. He had received the inheritance of that mysterious demon clan expert at the foot of the mountain. He also had a sacred weapon and all of his understanding of swordsmanship. Perhaps some of the older generation experts might be a match for him, but for someone like Duan Lingxiao who had only lived for 20 years, how could he be Lin Xian's match in terms of swordsmanship? But he did not believe it. He had to spar with Lin Xian and talk to him. If not for his quick reaction, Lin Xian's sword would definitely have given him a hard time. Duan Lingxiao kept retreating, frowning. Why was Lin Xian's sword different from before? It had become much faster and much sharper. He even had a feeling that he would not be able to beat Lin Xian in terms of swordsmanship. How was that possible? He had been wielding a sword since he was 3 years old. Furthermore, he had an extraordinary understanding of swordsmanship and sword intent. At such a young age, he had already grasped some of his own. In terms of swordsmanship, even Morong Yu might not be his match. Yet he had lost to Lin Xian? No. It must be because I was talking to him just now that I was distracted. Again. Duan Lingxiao wanted to get to the bottom of this. He did not believe that Lin Xian was stronger than him in this aspect. Then he directly charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to spar with him in terms of swordsmanship. He could not afford to lose. He felt that he was invincible among his peers, especially in terms of swordsmanship. If that happened, Lin Xian might crush his confidence again. The strength of this Duan clan boy is obvious to all, especially his understanding of swordsmanship. It has reached a certain level. In 100 years, I'm afraid there will be very few people in this world who can compete with him in terms of swordsmanship. But this Lin Xian is actually inferior to him in terms of swordsmanship? No, it's useless. This is just the beginning. They are just testing each other. Although it seemed like Duan Lingxiao lost by one move, it was probably because he was talking to Lin Xian and got distracted. Right? As soon as that person finished speaking, Duan Lingxiao was already retreating. He purely wanted to test the waters and compete with Lin Xian in terms of swordsmanship. In less than 10 seconds, he was already defeated. Chi! His arm was once again slashed by Lin Xian's sword, and he staggered backward. Everyone. This Lin Xian's swordsmanship is actually so much stronger than Duan Lingxiao's? This is unbelievable. This Lin Xian is so young, but his swordsmanship has already reached the Grandmaster level? This should be the Grandmaster level, right? What do you think, fellow swordsman experts? I got it. I definitely got it. Duan Lingxiao's mastery of swordsmanship is godly. He should be able to reach the Grandmaster level at such a young age. Lin Xian only used 10 seconds to defeat Duan Lingxiao with absolute swordsmanship. This is definitely the Grandmaster level of swordsmanship. Sir Swordsman, what do you think? A middle-aged man hugged his sword and looked at Lin Xian. Then he said calmly, I might not be able to defeat him with just the sword. What? Hearing the swordsman's words, the group of experts was dumbfounded. Although this swordsman was not the strongest swordsman on the continent, he was still famous for his swordsmanship. He actually said that he might not be able to defeat Lin Xian. What a monster! Chapter 13-15. The other girls were also very surprised. They had never felt that Lin Xian's swordsmanship was so strong before. How did he reach such a level in such a short period of time? Could the sword improve so much in such a short period of time? Unless he had an epiphany. Otherwise, it was impossible. How could an epiphany be so simple? Feng Ling clenched her fist. Although she did not want to admit it, his swordsmanship was indeed above hers. How powerful was Lin Xian? As Lin Xian's battles progressed, the confidence in her heart disappeared bit by bit. Duan Lingzhao's expression was terrible. He had lost. *CK your mother. Why did he have to compete with Lin Xian? Wouldn't it be fine if he did not compete? Now his and Lin Xian's swordsmanship attainments were clearly displayed in front of everyone. And his loss was also real. Duan Lingzhao gritted his teeth. Young Master Duan, your swordsmanship still needs to be improved. Lin Xian's voice entered his ears. Cough cough. Duan Lingzhao almost could not catch his breath. 8 Desolation. Sword Aura. Duan Lingzhao did not want to drag things out with Lin Xian. A golden light appeared on his sword. And then his aura rose rapidly. Swish swish swish. Subsequently, a continuous stream of powerful sword aura slashed towards Lin Xian. This was not a simple sword aura, but the 8 Desolation sword aura. If Lin Xian dared to clash with his strength, he would definitely be at a disadvantage. You're cultivating this kind of 8 Desolation sword aura? Then how about mine? Great Void. Sword aura. Swish, Lin Xian only slashed out one sword aura. When the two sword auras collided, Lin Xian's sword aura was like a gluttonous snake, and Lin Xian's terrifying sword aura was devoured by Lin Xian's gluttonous snake. It was instantly devoured clean. Everyone. Duan Lingzhao. How was that possible? Whoosh, he leaped and dodged the sword aura. This was the 8 Desolation sword intent that had been passed down from an expert 1,000 years ago. He lost. Had he lost completely? Arg! Duan Lingzhao shouted angrily and condensed a lightning dragon. Break. Groan. The thunder dragon even let out a long roar, shattering the ground and blasting towards Lin Xian. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. Then I'll show you this move, for tails against 1,000 caddies. Lin Xian did not move from his original position. When that terrifying power was about to touch him, he stretched out his sword and stirred the lightning dragon released by Duan Lingzhao, continuously dancing. Everyone. What kind of sword art is this? He was actually able to block his opponent's martial skill? 4 ounces to 1,000 caddies? Is it really that easy to achieve? This Lin Xian is really not simple. 1,000 caddies into 10,000 caddies. Arg! In the next instant, Lin Xian flung the lightning dragon that Duan Lingzhao had conjured with all his might. The moment the lightning dragon rushed over, everyone felt its strength increase by several times. Even the eyes of the lightning dragon's silhouette turned red. Duan Lingzhao's pupils suddenly shrank. Invincible domain. He stomped his foot, and the power of his domain directly erupted. Then that terrifying power directly bombarded his body, but he did not even take a step back. Lin Xian. *CK. This domain is amazing. Sure enough, this genius was a genius. The domain he comprehended was actually invincible. This was really amazing. However, Duan Lingzhao's domain was directly forced out by Lin Xian. The invincible domain has been released. Next, let's end the battle. Duan Lingzhao did not want to be flashy with Lin Xian. He realized that if he continued to be flashy, he would be the one to lose. So it was better to honestly defeat him. Slaughter Law. His power, his laws were all born for battle, and coincidentally, his domain was an absolute defense. This was definitely a very powerful combination. This slaughter law was a little similar to the destruction law, silently surging power to the opponent, causing damage to the opponent. However, the gap between it and the destruction law was too big because it still needed power to surge, but the destruction law did not need that at all. The destruction law only needed a thought. This was an absolute gap. Lin Xian felt the aura of slaughter surrounding him, then directly exchanged for the attribute that doubled his defense, and then the aura on his body surged. Then come at me. Chi chi chi. Everyone only saw that Lin Xian's clothes were constantly being torn, but nothing happened to him. Duan Lingxiao frowned. His slaughter law only had this little destructive power? Was this a joke? Let me show you this, the destruction law. Since Lin Xian's destruction law was already exposed, he could not be bothered to hide it anymore. Lin Xian, use it carefully. Ling Hai shouted. Knowing that Lin Xian's destruction law, he was very shocked, but he also understood that this law was extremely effective against people of the same realm and lower realm. But against people of a higher realm, the damage to himself was a little too great. Lin Xian nodded, then the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Duan Lingxiao's aura surged, and he directly released his divine rank martial skill. He wanted to use this power to resist the effect caused by the destruction law. However, he realized that it seemed like nothing happened at all. Is this the destruction law? I'm only one realm higher than you, and it's useless. Duan Lingxiao continued to condense his divine rank martial skill. Is that so? Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. Look at your invincible domain. Do you still have it? What? Duan Lingxiao then carefully sensed it, and his pupils suddenly shrank. His invincible domain was actually destroyed. It could not be activated again. This is the power of the destruction law. The destruction law can destroy everything. This Lin Xian is very smart. Using his realm lower than Duan Lingxiao's to destroy his body and cause him harm, this is definitely more difficult. But if it's just destroying Duan Lingxiao's invincible domain release, it's much easier. Without invincible, I want to see how strong you can be. Divine rank martial skill, myriad thunder heavenly prison. Arg. In an instant, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, heaven and earth phenomenon appeared, and a thunderstorm-like scene appeared in the void. It was very normal. Releasing a divine rank martial skill with the strength of a heavenly venerable could indeed attract this heaven and earth phenomenon. Boom! In the next instant, two terrifying divine rank martial skills collided together. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. Strength doubled. In the Heaven Martial Arts Conference, one could only use their own strength, and could not use any of their own spirit weapons or some special tools. This led to Lin Xian being invincible. Yes, his realm was indeed 1 star lower than Duan Lingxiao, but he could double his strength. Double it, he did not even use the creation law. How could you compare to him? Everyone stared with wide eyes. Why did this Lin Xian's strength surpass his own 6 stars Empyrean realm by so much? They sensed it for a moment, then were all shocked. Chapter 13-16. Previously, Lin Xian had indeed displayed such strength. His strength could suddenly be much stronger than others. The strength he displayed was not something he should have at his level. In the beginning, many people thought that it was some kind of prop, but now that he could not use props, it should not be a prop. He did not dare to use it. Then was it a martial technique? Amplification of martial techniques? Was this the only possibility? Or was it a law or a domain? In any case, the amplification was too much. Bang! Duan Lingxiao's figure flew out. He was completely crushed by Lin Xian. That's right, from the very beginning, he had already lost completely. Invincible domain, and was very powerful, but it was directly broken by Lin Xian's destruction law. Slaughter law. Seemed to be nothing in front of him. Then Lin Xian's strength doubled. How could he fight against the same divine rank martial technique? Everyone swallowed a mouthful of saliva and looked in front of them. Duan Lingxiao flew out. Whoosh! Duan Tianming leaped, and caught Duan Lingxiao, who flew down from the peak of the North Pole. This match, Lin Xian wins. It was true. They hadn't even felt their true strength in this match, and then Duan Lingxiao had lost. In other words, Lin Xian did not display his true strength. Actually, Duan Lingxiao did not display his true strength. He could only release a divine rank martial technique? Of course not. However, in this collision, Lin Xian's strength was too strong and crushed Duan Lingxiao. Cough cough. Duan Lingxiao clutched his chest and stood up. Lin Xian, why is your strength so strong? Are you sure you did not use any props? Duan Lingxiao was unwilling to believe it. Duan Lingxiao, was famous for his strength. However, he was crushed by Lin Xian. He was unwilling to believe that he could still be crushed by Lin Xian's divine rank martial technique after he released it. This was impossible. This was the effect of attribute exchange when one's realm was higher. Was doubling your strength in the mystic heaven realm and doubling your strength in the heavenly venerable realm the same concept? Completely not. Everyone was confused when they heard Duan Lingxiao's words. To be honest, they also wanted to know. Lin Xian smiled and said, my spatial ring is there, and I've checked my entire body. What do you think I have? That's not necessarily true. Who knows if you have other ways to hide it? Lin Xian shrugged and said, well, I couldn't have used props when I fought you in the virtual gaming chamber, right? Upon hearing Lin Xian's words, Duan Lingxiao was suddenly enlightened. That's right. Previously, when he was in the virtual reality pod, his strength had also far exceeded the realm he should have been in. However, the virtual reality pod was filled with spirit. How could he bring in real-life items? So, he really wasn't using a prop. Young Master Lin's strength is really strong. I accept my loss wholeheartedly. After Duan Lingxiao finished speaking, he left to recuperate. Morongfeng looked at Lin Xian. This kid was becoming more and more outstanding. Yes, I have the urge to be his father-in-law more and more. All right, Lin Xian, you should also go and rest, Morongfeng said. Lin Xian cupped his fists and left. The girls beside Lin Xian knew that he was enhanced by the law of creation. However, they didn't know that it was actually the system. The matches continued one after another. After the first round, it was Lin Xian's turn again. Next round, Lin Xian versus Morongyu. Lin Xian. The two of them looked at each other. Both of them had a 13-match winning streak. As expected, they still met. The possibility of them meeting each other was too high. Then, the two of them walked over. Feng Ling clenched her fists. The 14th round. She still hadn't met Lin Xian. She still had the 15th round, the last chance. If she still didn't meet Lin Xian, then she really wouldn't meet him. Even though Lin Xian had displayed such a powerful ability, she still felt that she could win. She was definitely not weak. Among all the people here, she was only worried about Morongyu and Zhugafeng's strength. She didn't care about the others. Perhaps there was still Lin Xian. Because of her dual laws, she was destined to be able to crush everyone. Let the battle begin. Lin Xian and Morongyu faced each other. Shua Morongyu's aura rose. She wanted to have a good fight with Lin Xian. Last time she didn't have enough fun. Still want to fight? Lin Xian said helplessly. Fight. Morongyu stared at Lin Xian and said indifferently. All right. I admit defeat. Everyone. Morongyu. Why do you admit defeat? Morongyu frowned. I don't want to fight with you. Lin Xian shrugged and said. Morongyu secretly clenched her teeth. You're not allowed to admit defeat. Lin Xian smiled. I'm leaving. I'm going to prepare for the last round. After saying that, Lin Xian walked down. Morongyu. Despicable. He admitted defeat just like that? Looks like he has absolute confidence in himself. Even if he loses this round, he still has the confidence to get into the top 10 of the Tianwu assembly. From the looks of it, there shouldn't be much of a problem. Let's see how he performs later. Palace Master Morong, your daughter seems to have a good relationship with Lin Xian. Duan Tianming glanced at Morongfeng and asked. Ha, it's all right. They should be very good friends. Not boyfriend and girlfriend. To be honest, he was a little worried that Morongyu and Lin Xian were boyfriend and girlfriend. One Morongyu was already troublesome enough. His son, the future palace master of the trial union, was not even a match for Morongyu. Now there was also Lin Xian. If Lin Xian and Morongyu got together, the palace master would become stronger because of Lin Xian. At the same time, they would also have the Yixian group in the Azura Palace. Moreover, he knew that his son liked Morongyu. I don't know either. The younger generation's matters are up to them. We old guys definitely won't care. Morong Feng knew what Duan Tianming wanted to say. He wanted to talk about the marriage between the two families. Therefore, he directly talked about the younger generation's matters and let them decide for themselves. This way, Duan Tianming wouldn't be able to ask the question. Next round, Feng Ling versus Han Chuxue. Following which, the two girls walked up to the stage. This Han Chuxue from the Han family is quite strong. However, it will be difficult for her to fight against Feng Ling. It will be difficult. However, it's hard to say. In terms of individual ability, Feng Ling might not be comparable to Han Chuxue. Feng Qingyang looked at his daughter. I admit defeat. Feng Ling said straightforwardly. Everyone was speechless. Feng Qingyang staggered. Admit defeat? To Feng Ling, the reason for admitting defeat was simple. Lin Xian had won 13 out of 14 matches. If she wanted to fight against Lin Xian, she had to lose this match. She didn't know if she could win against Han Chuxue. Therefore, she didn't want to waste her spiritual energy. She directly admitted defeat. Chapter 13-17. Feng Ling's admission of defeat stunned everyone. She was a top-notch genius. She should at least be in the top 10 or top 20. Although Han Chuxue was strong, she should be evenly matched with her before the fight. Why did she admit defeat just like that? Feng Qingyang's mouth twitched. That girl. That girl. He was about to go crazy with anger. Of course, he knew why his daughter had admitted defeat. Was it really that important? Dad, did Ling Ling admit defeat just to fight Lin Xian? Feng Qinghao asked. What do you think? Feng Qingyang sighed helplessly. My second sister is so honest. She admitted defeat just to fight Lin Xian. She's so cool. Feng Qingyu looked at Feng Ling, who was walking over with admiration. Bang! Feng Qingyang slapped him on the head. Cool. That's called brainless. Han Chuxue was strong, but his daughter was not weak either. She might not lose. She had a high chance of winning because she had the space attribute. But she admitted defeat just like that. This was the Sky Martial Assembly, the final Sky Martial Assembly. This girl actually, she was so angry. There was another reason why Feng Ling admitted defeat. Even if she had the space attribute weakening and the law of creation, she felt that the fight with Han Chuxue would be a tough one. She would definitely reveal a lot of her trump cards. So she admitted defeat. If she did not fight Lin Xian in the next round, there was nothing she could do. But if she did, you little girl. Feng Qingyang was exasperated with her failure. Feng Qinghao shook his head helplessly. He, Feng Qinghao, had won 13 out of 14 matches. He had lost one match to Han Chuxue. He wanted to win 14 matches in a row, but his second sister gave up on her own accord. I want to fight with Lin Xian. Feng Ling stood there with his arms crossed and said, Then do you know that if you don't handle things well later on, you might? There are countless people with special abilities in the Tianwu tournament. Do you think you can easily get into the top 10? Let's not talk about Murongyu, Duan Ling Xiao, and Qi Tianqing for now. Just those people around Lin Xian. Which one of them can you say for sure that you can beat them? Feng Qingyang could only sigh. I just want to beat him up. Wen Chimes gritted her teeth. Sigh. There was nothing Feng Qingyang could do. The bullet screen was also filled with question marks. They didn't understand. Wasn't this girl very fierce before? 13 consecutive victories. Why did he admit defeat without even fighting? Could it be that this cold and super beautiful goddess was so powerful? Hey, that Feng clan's daughter seems to have set her eyes on you. She directly admitted defeat to Chuxue, just to have the same number of points as you. That way, she would have a chance to meet you. Ling Ying elbowed Lin Xian's waist and said, There's something wrong with that woman. She's really sick. Lin Xian had seen many strong-willed women before, but he had never seen one as strong-willed as her. She could not be called strong-willed. She was simply condescending. There was no one or thing that she could set her eyes on. What she did was right. She was a typical spoiled brat, a typical princess syndrome. She felt like the whole world revolved around her. F***ck, which girl around him wasn't as beautiful as her? Wasn't Morongyu prettier than her? Her status was also high, but she was just arrogant. That was normal. Helpless. This girl even triggered a mission. Since she triggered a mission, it meant that she was not bad and had a good personality. Then he would just leave her to Lin Xian to train. After fighting for so long, the experts in the surroundings had a rough idea of the strength and abilities of the people they paid attention to. The subsequent battles continued one after another. Speaking of which, it's really amazing. Lin Xian used to be a piece of trash. In such a short time, he has become such an existence. He even made me feel pressured. What do you think he went through? Zhao Mingyue sat there and looked at Linya. Weren't you also a piece of trash before? Linya said indifferently. That makes sense. Boss, do you want us to kill him? Blood Demon asked. He was the one that Lin Xian met earlier, and was heavily injured by Dragoni. Shut up, you piece of trash. Last time, you didn't get the power of the Void Killing Eyes because you were too useless. Are you also Lin Xian's opponent? Zhao Mingyue trembled with anger when she thought of this. She didn't know how the power of the Void Killing Eyes was now. She didn't dare to go over for fear of an ambush. You can't blame me. Who knew that he had such a powerful little guy in his arms? What kind of little guy? Zhao Mingyue asked. I didn't pay much attention to it. It looks like a fairy? Anyway, it looks like a human, but it's very small. Forget it, we'll talk about this later. I hope that power didn't fall on Lin Xian. Otherwise, he's too big of a threat. Zhao Yingming gritted her teeth. The Void Killing Eyes was one of the strongest powers among the 12 demon gods. It had the strongest attack power. In the entire continent, the Void Killing Eyes' attack power was almost unparalleled. If it fell on Lin Xian, it would be really bad. Linya looked at the screen. Little Xian had grown to become more and more powerful. Moreover, he must have gotten the news that she left in Drunken Pavilion. She hoped that everything would go well. Next match, Lin Xian's name slowly appeared on the screen. Feng Ling nervously clenched her fist. It must be her. It must be her. Then, Feng Ling's name slowly appeared behind Lin Xian's name. Lin Xian versus Feng Ling. Feng Ling's beautiful eyes suddenly lit up. Lin Xian. Wow. Did he really meet this chick? Whoosh. Feng Ling directly appeared on the North Pole's arena, and looked at Lin Xian. Good luck. A few girls cheered for Lin Xian behind Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and walked over. I hope you don't admit defeat. Feng Ling looked at Lin Xian and said coldly. Admitting defeat is impossible. I can see that you've always wanted to beat me up. What do you think? Feng Ling gritted her teeth and extended her hand. A public Earth Stage 5-star sword flew into her palm. What kind of enmity does this Lin Xian have with Feng family's Feng Ling? From the beginning, Feng family's Feng Ling seemed to be targeting this Lin Xian. Murong Feng looked at the two people in the arena with interest. I heard that they had some friction in IC City. It seems that Feng family's Feng Ling was taught a lesson by Lin Xian. Oh, no wonder Feng Ling was so unconvinced. Interesting. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Let's begin. You're not using your sword? Feng Ling frowned and looked at Lin Xian. I don't need it to deal with you. Everyone. Hiss. Isn't this Lin Xian too arrogant? He's really arrogant. He doesn't need it? Is he pretending or does he really not need it? Chapter 1318. Everyone only knew that Lin Xian's swordsmanship was really powerful. If he used a sword, his combat power would definitely increase tremendously. If he didn't use it, it would be equivalent to him giving up his powerful swordsmanship against Feng Ling who used a sword. It was a natural disadvantage. On the other hand, Feng Ling felt a strong sense of mockery from Lin Xian. Damn it. Whoosh. She then raised her hand and her sword flew out. Since you don't use it, I won't use it to bully you. Feng Ling looked at Lin Xian and said, Everyone, this girl. Feng Qingyang was really convinced by his daughter. She didn't teach her well. Lin Xian gave her a chance to win. She had such a big advantage, but she still threw her sword away. He was furious. Lin Xian smiled. Although this chick is spicy, a little chili pepper, she is really interesting. Are you sure you don't want to use it? Cut the crap. Let's fight. Feng Ling's aura began to surge. Lin Xian smirked. Don't cry when you lose. Don't find excuses to lose to a woman. After Feng Ling finished speaking, her wind attribute power surged. She didn't even use her space and rushed directly in front of Lin Xian at an unimaginable speed. She was a proud woman. If Lin Xian didn't use her space, she definitely wouldn't. Whoever used it first would prove that they lost in terms of aura. It proved that whoever didn't use it couldn't win. She had to use it. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. As expected of the Feng family, her wind attribute power was really strong. Her speed was really fast. Then Lin Xian's wind attribute also surged. Whoosh bang, the two charged at each other and their fists collided. The moment their powers collided, the ground under their feet cracked and the two sank directly. The surrounding air exploded and dust was directly shaken up. So strong. Both of them are so strong. They're really strong. They should be the top existences in this competition. I don't know who will win. I feel that the two of them didn't reveal too many of their trump cards in the previous matches. Sister, who will win? Ling Longyue also asked Ling Longxue curiously. Although her realm wasn't low, she didn't have much experience. Lin Xian. Ling Longxue said without thinking. Is this Lin Xian really that powerful? Ling Longyue said unhappily. All you need to know is that Lin Xian is absolutely invincible in the same realm. Ling Longxue said. At least in Ling Longshue's eyes, there was no one in the world who was a match for Lin Xian in the same realm. Even being one star higher than Lin Xian was useless. It was also an absolutely invincible existence. It couldn't be helped. This was what this person was showing Ling Longxue. You're courting death. When Feng Ling saw that Lin Xian was actually competing with her in terms of strength, she sneered. Following that, her fist didn't move, but a hidden force exploded. This feeling was like a nail being nailed into a wall. The nail couldn't move, but there was a hammer behind it that suddenly increased the force of the nail. That was the feeling. Hidden force. Lin Xian instantly retreated a few meters. This was a very powerful ability of Feng Ling. Her strength was normal, but she had a hidden force. To put it simply, as long as she released this hidden force, every time she attacked, there would be two forces, one from the front and one from the back. And the hidden force would be even stronger. For example, when she and Lin Xian fought, neither of them could do anything to the other. However, if the hidden force successfully hit Lin Xian's arm would look fine on the surface, but the tendons and even the bones in his arm would directly shatter. This was the terrifying part of the hidden force. When Lin Xian fought with her before, he already knew that this woman had such a power. What was this? Lin Xian didn't understand. This wasn't a law, nor was it a martial technique. He didn't understand, but it was indeed a little tricky. It was very dangerous. Upon seeing this scene, everyone frowned. Lin Xian had lost in the first move. Take this. Whoosh! Following that, Feng Ling charged forward fiercely. Their fists and feet began to collide at a very fast frequency. Impact. Apart from the sound of the wind, there was only the muffled sound of their fists colliding with each other. Lin Xian didn't plan on exchanging for attributes. He didn't plan on exchanging for strength, speed, and defense to fight this girl. He wanted to have a good fight with her without using any of the system's powers. He wanted to see what he could do without the system's powers. In fact, it was too easy for Lin Xian to win. They were in the same realm. If Lin Xian directly doubled his strength, Feng Ling would definitely not be a match for Lin Xian. She would even be tortured by Lin Xian. But this time, Lin Xian wanted to use his true strength to fight with her. At the same time, he wanted to know how strong his strength was compared to the top powerhouses of the same realm. Was this Feng Ling strong? Of course she was. Although Lin Xian had fought with Morongyu many times, winning and losing, Lin Xian wanted to try fighting with someone else. Ripping Hurricane. After Feng Ling punched at Lin Xian, her aura surged. From behind her, the terrifying hurricane force attacked Lin Xian like a sharp blade. Whirlwind clouds. Swish, swish, swish. It was like countless sharp blades colliding with each other. Bang! Following that, the two of them pulled apart. The moment they pulled apart, Lin Xian's body began to be surrounded by lightning. He then took the initiative to charge forward. Bang! This time, Lin Xian's every punch was accompanied by the power of lightning. As for Fengling, she also had the lightning attribute. But this time, under Lin Xian's attacks, she was forced to retreat. Why? Lin Xian's lightning was much stronger than hers. When others saw that Lin Xian's lightning was purple while Fengling's was only blue, they knew that Lin Xian would never lose to anyone in the same realm in terms of lightning. Rage of thunder soaring. Fengling pulled apart the distance once again. Then she pointed to the sky. Terrifying lightning fell and condensed at her fingertips. Then she suddenly waved it at Lin Xian. Hundreds of lightning condensed into phoenix-like phantoms charged at Lin Xian. Thunder surging heavens. Sizzle boom. Their powers collided once again. No one could do anything to the other. You still don't want to use the space? Lin Xian asked with a smirk. You don't. Fengling was not afraid of Lin Xian at all. Why should she use it first? After you use the space, you will know that there is always someone better in this world. Fengling laughed in disdain. Divine-level martial arts technique, myriad thunder falling. Rumble. Lin Xian smirked. Divine-level martial arts technique, myriad thunder heavenly prison. Boom. Everyone in the distance released their powers to resist the terrifying shockwave from the collision of the two divine-level martial arts techniques. Whoosh. Fengling's figure flew out from the lightning and landed on the ground. She retreated more than 10 meters before stopping. Damn it. She could not withstand it. She really could not win in terms of lightning. However, in the next moment, a red mark suddenly appeared under her feet. Chapter 13:19. Fengling's pupils suddenly constricted. Whoosh! In the next instant, she released a space jump and disappeared from her original spot. The moment she disappeared, a pillar of raging flames rose into the sky from where she had been standing just a moment ago. Everyone was secretly shocked. This Lin Xian, space, wind, thunder, fire. He had many attributes, and those who were familiar with Lin Xian knew that he was far more than that. Fengling was secretly shocked. If that flame touched her, she was afraid that her match would be over. Hey, let's release the space. Lin Xian's lips curled as he looked at Fengling. Humph. Space seal. She then directly sealed Lin Xian. Space blast. Boom. When the dust dissipated, Lin Xian's figure was no longer in the space where he was. Clearly, Lin Xian had directly broken through her space power. Space seal. Lin Xian then released a space seal on Fengling. Space blast. When the dust dissipated, Fengling was half kneeling there with a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. What? Everyone revealed a shocked expression when they saw this scene. Fengling's space seal and space blast were directly broken by Lin Xian, and she was hit by the space seal and space blast that Lin Xian released on her. This can only mean one thing: Lin Xian's space attainments are stronger than hers, and much stronger. Is this Lin Xian really so terrifying? His space is much stronger than others? They're about the same age. Isn't this kind of space or time attribute only revealed a few decades later? Why is there such a big gap now? This scene made many people very puzzled. Wind Chime slowly stood up. She should be the one who found it the most inconceivable. Previously, she had compared space with Lin Xian, and felt that it was about the same. However, this time, she felt that she had been crushed. His space power was stronger than hers. That was absolute. Perhaps she had been too careless. Because she had fought with Lin Xian once before, she probably thought that she could directly break through. Then she tried again, but this time she actually did not break through. It was too late to use any other method. If she hadn't been so careless, she would have definitely been able to break through Lin Xian's spatial seal with her spatial power, and her own powerful attack power. Even if that didn't work, she could at least create a law to increase her strength, right? But time couldn't be reversed. Now that she was injured, the situation was even worse. Law of weakening. Without hesitation, she stood up and unleashed the law of weakness on Lin Xian. Take this. Fierce wind rolling waves. Fengling's hair was dancing wildly, and the wind was so strong that the spectators could not open their eyes. Even breathing was difficult. Law of creation buff me. Feng Ling knew that if she were to continue fighting like before, she would definitely lose. She immediately released 2 laws to reverse the situation. Lin Xian's law of destruction was useless because she had already weakened him. It wasn't useful before, but it's useful now. Lin Xian directly created a law to increase his strength that was weakened by her. And then thunder erupted. Thunder rolling heavens. Boom! The 2 forces collided. In the beginning, they were evenly matched, and even Lin Xian's thunder rolling heavens had a slight advantage. But in the next instant, her wind attribute martial skill instantly crushed his thunder attribute power. What caused Lin Xian to be stunned for a moment was that they were both heaven rank martial skills, and her martial skill should also be around heaven rank 1 star. Why was it that the power of her wind attribute martial skill crushed his lightning attribute? Could it be that she had some kind of buff? No. He had seen this kind of situation many times. Even if you had some kind of buff when you released it, it was already at that level. How could you increase your strength midway? He had only seen this kind of situation when he released the law of creation. It was exactly the same. Law of creation. This woman also had the law of creation? No wonder she dared to fight with him even though she knew that he had the law of destruction, and was not weak. In principle, her confidence came from the law of creation. But there was no use. Lin Xian's law of creation directly increased his thunder rolling heavens again. Then, the thunder rolling heavens that was just crushed instantly rose again. Feng Ling. This law of creation. She was too familiar with this scene. She had only seen it when she released the law of creation. This Lin Xian, other than the law of destruction, he also had the law of creation? 2 top-notch laws gathered in one person? No wonder. It was really no wonder that he could use some kind of power to make up for it when she directly weakened his strength by 50%. So it was the law of creation. I want to see. You've already used up a lot of spiritual power to use the law of creation to make up for the debuff that my law of weakness gave you. I'll directly compete with you in spiritual power. Can you still win? Then Feng Ling continued to use the law of creation to increase the power of her martial skill. Lin Xian. Damn. This girl actually wanted to play with him like this? Competing to see who had more spiritual power? Then why would Lin Xian be afraid of her? Then, Lin Xian continued to use the law of creation to increase the power of his thunder rolling heavens. The 2 forces gradually became stronger. If you don't give in to me, I won't give in to you. Everyone. This? What the hell is this? These 2 martial skills have already been released. Why are they still increasing their power? Feng Ling's martial skill increased and wanted to suppress Lin Xian's martial skill. However, the power of Lin Xian's martial skill suddenly increased again. Can this be? These 2 martial skills have already been released. Why is the power still increasing? What's going on? Many people were dumbfounded. Many of these people had not even heard of the law of creation. And those who had heard of it had never seen it at all. It was very difficult for them to directly link it to the law of creation. However, there were a few people who could see through it directly. This Lin Xian. Feng Qingyang's eyes widened. Feng Qingyang already thought highly of Lin Xian's law of destruction. After all, it was an ultimate law of the same level. However, Lin Xian actually had the law of creation. This person was simply terrifying. How could he be so good-looking? There was no way for his daughter to win. Unless her spiritual power was much higher than Lin Xian's. Otherwise, however, Lin Xian was so heaven-defying. Could his daughter's spiritual power really be higher than his? This Feng Ling actually has the law of creation. No wonder. Ling was suddenly enlightened. No wonder she dared to continue fighting with Lin Xian. So that was it. How envious. This is bad. After seeing this scene, Morong Feng frowned. If these 2 people continued to fight like this, and continued to increase the power of their martial skills, they might be able to increase their power to the level of the higher void stage. However, once it exploded, they would definitely die since they did not have the cultivation of the higher void stage. Chapter 1320. As for Feng Ling, She did not care about anything else. She just wanted to defeat Lin Xian. She did not care about the consequences. As for Lin Xian, don't worry. How could he be worried about this? Hey, aren't you afraid that when the time comes, your power will be too condensed and you will die? Lin Xian kept releasing the law of creation, and then said, "You're almost out of spiritual energy, right?" Feng Ling then said, and then the power of the law of creation increased again. Lin Xian, this woman must be crazy. Alright. If you want to play, I'll play with you. Lin Xian's law of creation also continued to increase. The surrounding people swallowed their saliva. The martial skills released by the two 6-star heavenly venerables had already reached the level of power of the Great Void stage, surpassing the 3rd stage. More and more people felt that something was wrong. The law of creation. It's the law of creation. Both of them have the law of creation. They are now competing with the law of creation, competing with the density of their spiritual energy. Suddenly, someone discovered this matter and shouted out, "The law of creation." Hearing this, they came to a realization. So it's the law of creation. No wonder they can continue to increase their power after releasing their martial skills. What is this law of creation? It's one of the strongest laws in the world, as famous as the law of destruction. Wait, this Lin Xian already has the law of destruction, and now he is releasing the power of the law of creation. He actually has the 2 strongest laws in the world. Suddenly realizing this matter, those people revealed shocked expressions. The law of creation. So it's the law of creation. Xiao Yun, Duan Lingxiao, and some others who had lost to Lin Xian but did not know why Lin Xian was so strong suddenly came to a realization. No wonder Lin Xian's power is so strong. So this is the reason. He used the law of creation to strengthen his own power or martial skills, which is why he displayed a power that does not belong to his realm. Duan Lingxiao clenched his fists. Why? Why was this world so unfair? He did not have the law of creation or the law of destruction, but Lin Xian had too. Why? His loss was justified. At the same time, he understood that it wasn't Lin Xian who was strong, but the laws. He had simply lost to the laws. If Lin Xian did not have a law of this level, how could he have lost? Keep increasing. Feng Ling shouted and her strength soared again. Give me more points. Lin Xian did not cower in the slightest. Gradually, their spiritual energy was almost depleted. Of course, Lin Xian definitely had more spiritual energy than Feng Ling. Wind chimes gritted her teeth. It was one thing for Lin Xian to have the law of creation, but did he have more spiritual energy than him? Boom. She finally retracted her hand, and the 2 forces officially collided. Prepare your defenses. Morong Feng loudly shouted. He was speaking to the other contestants and the people who had come over. There were many strong people here, but there were also some whose cultivation was not that strong. When the martial skills of these 2 people collided with each other, the resulting power was simply unimaginable. Boom. The entire Arctic summit trembled violently. Dust flew everywhere, and the airflow was chaotic. Who won? The dust slowly dispersed, and everyone swallowed their saliva as they watched. The people in front of their phones were all motionless. They nervously stared at the thick dust on their phones. They were looking forward to what kind of scene would appear after the dust dispersed. Although the others were very nervous, they were not too flustered. These 2 people both had the space attribute. With the space attribute, they would not be directly injured by this kind of power, right? As the dust slowly dispersed, a huge crater that was over 200 meters wide gradually appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Hiss. When they saw this scene, they sucked in a breath of cold air. This was the power they had erupted with. Wasn't this a little too exaggerated? Quickly go and see if the 2 of them are all right. Then a group of people ran over from all directions. Then they saw the 2 people face each other in the deep pit. Seeing this scene, they let out a long sigh of relief. It's good that they are fine. It's good that they are fine. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. This woman was indeed powerful. How should he put it? She might not be as powerful as Morongyu, but she was definitely not inferior to Lingying, Han Chuxue, and the rest. She was strong in the creation of the law, including the space attribute. Morong had the destruction law, so she could fight with her. As for Ling Ying and the rest, they did not have such a level of law. At the same level, it was very difficult to beat her. Top-level laws were not just for show. However, if she gave up this power and fought in other ways, she should not be a match for Ling Ying, Han Chuxue, and Xiao Xinyue. Lin Xian also realized that without the power of the system, although he was still not weak, he was not as brainless as before. However, he still could not lose. Still fighting? Lin Xian looked at Feng Ling in front of him and asked. Wind Chimes gritted her teeth tightly. Her butt. Lin Xian took advantage of the situation and threw a stone at her butt. Now, even if it was not bleeding, it was definitely purple. I'm not done with you. Feng Ling glared at Lin Xian angrily. Even if you're not done, you have to have the ability. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Domain Infinite Replication Domain. In the next moment, Feng Ling's aura surged and her pupils suddenly shrank. This Lin Xian still had so much spiritual energy? He even had the time attribute? From the beginning of the battle with him, he had not used his full strength. That's right, this was Feng Ling's domain. If this domain was said to be strong, it was extremely strong. If it was said to be weak, it could also be very weak. Anyway, if it was really in terms of domain power, Ling Ying and the rest domains were not weak. They were all very strong, but the effect was different. This Feng Ling's domain was infinite replication. What effect did it have? Choosing a target, she could replicate his state, his attributes, and his abilities. For example, now that Feng Ling had replicated Lin Xian's power, she had the same remaining spiritual energy value as Lin Xian. She had the power of ice, time, fire, darkness, and other attributes. She had Lin Xian's law of destruction power. Of course, she could not replicate the void-killing eyes. In this domain, she had almost all of Lin Xian's power. Of course, she had to give up her own power. Therefore, the more powerful the opponent, the more powerful she would be after the replication. If the replicated opponent's strength was not as good as hers, then it would be terrible. However, after the replication, she would have to consume spiritual energy every second. Therefore, this domain could not be said to be particularly strong, but it could not be said to be very weak either. Feng Ling was stunned on the spot. His domain could actually reduce the opponent's cultivation by 3 stars regardless of the realm. Feng Ling felt it, and was even more stunned. Therefore, he still held back a lot in the battle with her. Otherwise, she would have lost long ago. Ka ka ka. Feng Ling clenched her fists, and then her spiritual energy dissipated. I admit defeat. She gritted her teeth as she finished speaking. Then with a leap she flew out. Chapter 13:21. This inexplicable scene caused everyone to be stunned. She looked fine, and didn't she just release her domain power? Why did he admit defeat before even fighting after releasing his domain power? What was going on? Lin Xian was also stunned. This was not her personality. Could it be that she knew she couldn't fight? No. With this girl's personality, even if she couldn't fight, she would still fight. Lin Xian felt that this girl would not admit defeat so easily even if she died. Lin Xian returned to Ling Ying's side. Why did she admit defeat? Maybe she knows she can't beat me. Lin Xian shrugged and said. But she's really powerful. She even has the law of creation. Xiao Xinyue said. It seems like she has 2 laws. Wang Xintong said. Lin Xian nodded. 2 laws were rarer than 4 laws. Morong, you only had 1 law. You can imagine. Anyway, Feng Ling was the only person Lin Xian had met who had 2 laws. There must be more. After Lin Xian's battle ended, there were still other people to fight. However, it had to be said that Lin Xian had shocked everyone. Although Feng Ling lost, she also surprised everyone. Why did you admit defeat? Feng Qingyang looked at his daughter. He knew his daughter too well. Even if she died in battle, she would not admit defeat so easily. Feng Ling said, I can't beat him. Second sister, this is the first time I've heard this from you in so many years. Feng Qingyu looked at Feng Ling in shock. Feng Ling was helpless. She looked at Lin Xian. She couldn't beat him. Indeed, she had replicated Lin Xian's power, and could still fight with him. However, she also knew that if Lin Xian had used his domain, time, space, or even the law of destruction that he hadn't used in his battle with her, she would have lost long ago. Although she was strong, she was very rational. She knew that she was no match for Lin Xian. However, she was unwilling to accept it. He was really unwilling to accept this. Why did this person have to provoke him, and why couldn't he beat him? Damn it. You've replicated his power. He must have some powerful abilities that he hasn't revealed yet, right? Feng Qingyang asked. Time and space, dual laws of creation and destruction. His domain can reduce an opponent's strength by 3 stars regardless of their realm. Even a heavenly Dao realm expert can be reduced by 3 stars. If he were to fight in such a manner, I would have long lost. Feng Ling said. What? Feng Qingyang was shocked when he heard Feng Ling's words. The strongest powers in the world, time, space, creation, and destruction, were all in his hands? Then his domain reduced his opponent's cultivation by 3 stars. This wasn't a big deal, but the most terrifying thing was that it ignored the reduction in cultivation level. When this person grows up in the future, he will be invincible, Feng Qingyang said as he looked at Lin Xian. Feng Ling also nodded in agreement. Although it was very unpleasant, it was the truth. Creation, destruction, space, and time were already invincible. And he even had such a domain. Seriously, they really didn't know how he could lose. As long as he didn't overestimate himself and grew up completely, his ability and terrifying level would increase along with his cultivation level. If such a person can become a member of our Feng family. Feng Qingyang looked at Lin Xian with a burning gaze. Feng Ling. Lin Xian's dual laws of destruction and creation had caused an uproar among this group of experts. Everyone thought that Morongyu, Duan Lingxiao, and the others were the strongest, but they soon realized that wasn't the case. This unknown Lin Xian was the most terrifying person. However, they didn't know much about the people sitting in front of their phones and computers. They only knew that Lin Xian seemed to be very powerful. Even if they heard about the laws of creation and destruction, how many of them actually knew or had heard of them? It seems like there's still a huge gap between me and Lin Xian. Zhuge Feng sighed. He originally thought that there wasn't much of a gap between him and Lin Xian, but he lost. He felt that his loss was justified, but he still thought that he had a chance to catch up with Lin Xian. Now he had completely given up on that thought. With Lin Xian's strength, he couldn't catch up with him even if he worked hard. Do we still want to work together? Xiaoyan asked. Su Jiming clenched his fists. He had a strange feeling that even if they worked together, they wouldn't be able to stop Lin Xian. Work together. Duan Lingxiao clenched his fists. Now that Lin Xian was so powerful, if he was allowed to enter the God's Awakening door, his strength would soar. If he stopped Lin Xian from going to the God's Awakening door, he would be able to shorten the gap between him and Lin Xian. He might even surpass Lin Xian. Rumor had it that he had heard from the higher-ups of the Enforcement Union that the God's Awakening door had an almighty ability that could reshape one's life. What did it mean to put it simply? As long as one was alive, even if one's attributes and laws were already set, one would have a chance to obtain other attributes, laws, and even domains. One could even obtain other things. The God's Awakening door wasn't built by the 3 major factions. No one knew how the God's Awakening door had been passed down. In any case, it had been around for a very long time. There were too many things that could be obtained from it. As long as he obtained the power of time, space, creation, and destruction, he would definitely be able to crush Lin Xian. Hence, it was necessary to stop Lin Xian from entering the God's Awakening door. But with just the few of us, I'm afraid. That's right. The current Lin Xian had already caused them to fear him to such an extent. Not to mention killing him, they didn't even have the confidence to stop him from entering the God's Awakening door. Duan Lingxiao said calmly, "Don't worry, I can find him. There's no need to kill him, just stop him." He believed that with his talent and ability, he would definitely be able to surpass Lin Xian once he entered the God's Awakening door. In this competition, the difference between everyone isn't that big. That Lin Xian didn't have 15 consecutive victories. He also admitted defeat once and only has 13 points. It's about the same as us. Hence, he doesn't have much of a lead over us. The possibility of stopping him from entering the God's awakening door is very high. Alright. Since young Master Duan has said so, then let's work together to stop Lin Xian. All the best, Lin Xian said to Wang Xintong and the others. Alright. The next match would be Morong Yu's 15th match. She already had a 14-match winning streak, and her next opponent was someone who also had a 14-match winning streak. Just how strong was a person who could achieve a 14-match winning streak? How many people could there be? Therefore, it was very easy for Morong Yu to run into his own people. However, her luck wasn't bad. She didn't meet her own people. Morong Yu's 15th opponent, Chu He. Who was Chu He? An expert with 14 consecutive victories. Chu Feng's elder brother, the eldest young master of the Chu family from the Feng country. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.